Alright. Okay, I should be live. Hey everyone. Just gotta post this to Facebook. Shit. Test. Okay. I just realized there was a delay on my monitor, so look, I know I should have all this shit figured out beforehand, but I'm just really bad at prepping, so I know I'm live on YouTube, but I'm just waiting to post this to Facebook. So all my friends know that I'm live. Okay, just whatever. Get me into GarageBand. I wonder if... Yeah, I think I'm the only one watching. That's okay. Test. Nope. Test. Okay. Test. Okay, that works. So now I can hear myself. Okay, cool. Now just to post this to Facebook and we can get actually started. Program, like, you know, on stream, but man, there's a lot of things I shouldn't be doing. One of which might be streaming, but you know. Yeah, okay, give me that. Oh yeah, shrink down, get real small. Okay, yeah, that's really, yep, okay. I don't know, let's make something fun. Oh, what did I want to do? Oh, god damn it. Are you kidding me? This thing doesn't have a zoom tool? I guess I'm just using a bad version of it. It hasn't updated yet. Whatever, man. So let's... I like this pen. It definitely looks better than the last one I was using. But let's make something. What are we making here? I really don't know, but it's gonna be a product. I guess, yeah. This is my submission for invention of the year. Let's see. It's a book, actually. That's my invention. I invented the book. Well, I invented this book, so technically that's an invention. Because I invented this specific type of book. And it's about of course it's gonna be penis, but penis what? No, it doesn't have to be. I don't have to go blue that easy. It's gonna be people. I could just use the text tool. Let's see. Yeah, that's the boring way. I didn't spell. Okay, pepperoni. I forgot the O. Man, I am not good at drawing. Seriously though, where's the zoom? How do I? Okay, that's fine. I have to keep glancing at the keyboard because I forget where my fingies are. Learning a new program, it's like you have to contort your wrist. Actually, I'm going to keep my wrist up here. Maybe that feels better. Not especially. This is really not fun to do. I'm just realizing. So let's scrap this. This is a bad idea. That's okay. Just be willing to admit your mistakes. So instead, let's I don't know. It's hard to like coming up with an idea. This is pretty much what I struggle with all day. But let's draw a little man. That's easy. The first part was just me working out the kinks and you know, just figuring out how this pen feels, I guess. It definitely feels better than Photoshop, though. Look at that. Look at that nipple. Yeah, really chunky characters. They're a lot of fun to draw. And he's gonna have his hands in his pockets like a real G, just because I don't feel like drawing hands at this present present moment. Well, I'll draw this hand. He'll be holding a little baby. Just right there on his hip. Sure, we'll just do that. And I'll just do his fingers. He should be cradling the child, shouldn't he? He's a maybe this isn't his father, but it's like his you know, cool uncle. You know, just brought him back from the zoo. It's my own personal headcanon. Looks like I drew him with a shirt on, but I guess his yeah, no, he's got like a, you know, his jacket's like open, basically. Yeah, he's got just belt buckles. You got to draw the belt. That would really be over here, wouldn't it? Because it's his center, guys, his center line. So let's put that over there. You know, I could sure. Wait, I'm gonna get rid of that line. Oh, I don't need that line. All right. Yeah. In fact, okay, let's see. L, yes. So I can just, hold on. I can just move this, and what is it, V? Yeah, just put that right over there. See, so I can do that when I need to, and it's not that bad. It doesn't take that much time, I mean. All right, let me just keep this over here. Yep, still the only viewer. That's fine. Who cares about that? Not me. I should be getting a guest in a little while. Yeah, I'm actually gonna take the shirt off. I think it was just kind of to get out the shape of him. That's good. Yeah, he's gonna be holding also a small man. Yeah. Okay. I could probably even change the shortcuts if I wanted to. Oh, that's nice. He has like a little nose. Okay, I'm basically just stealing from Chris O'Neill, just the way he comes up with characters. But, you know, it's good inspiration. It's a good jumping off point. I'm wondering. Pencil? No. What is that? Anti-aliasing. Okay. Airbrush. Doesn't feel very airbrush to me. Sharp. Sure. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, sure, yeah. Is there pressure on this? Circle snap, no. Soft edge, let's take that off. Straight line. Let's just type it in. Nope. Again, maybe it's not the right update. Or rather, it's just not updated. Whatever, let's not worry about it. I'm trying not to get distracted as much. I don't know if you can tell, I'm very easily Distracted. Soft edge. I guess I do want that. Let's get that opacity up, yeah. Oh yeah, that looks great. Create a straight line now. I guess it's not like super high resolution. But man, that frickin' zoom tool. How do you have an art program without a zoom tool? Hide these buttons all the way over on the other side of the keyboard. It's madness. Absolute madness. That looks fine. Just a handsome man. Turn the opacity down slightly. These eyes are a little, I wouldn't say I'm bad at drawing eyes. I'm kind of bad at choosing eyes. If that's a thing. Let's see. Put the opacity in. Okay, I guess that's fine. I really don't like these eyes. I'm just going to do them again. Nope. Please turn off. Okay, alright, fine. This guy kind of looks like a Goron, or like a really, I don't know, what would be the kind term? A very large, yeah, like version of Bobby Hill. Grown up. Yeah, either that or a Goron, I don't know. But yeah, it kind of looks like a genie too. In fact, I'm gonna give him a little fez hat. Yeah, this is actually this is how they should have cast Aladdin. Should have been this guy. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, just making sure all my shit's good. Cool. Alright. Alright. Looks like we're gonna get guest in about 15 minutes. Hopefully gonna talk about, I don't know, whatever. The topic could morph. It's fine. I'm fine. We're all fine with that. Just gonna give him a little bit of cross hatching here, just to give him a little bit of depth. Yeah, those aren't teeth. That's supposed to be his lip. I shouldn't do a sideways line then. Let me take those out of there. I should just round it out, I guess. You know what I should do? Just, yeah. Just fill it in a little bit. I probably should give it a little bit of, let's give it a little bit of reflection. It looks slightly better. Not especially. Let's see, if I add a little bit to the top lip there, maybe it'll help it out. I don't think I'm going to fill it in all the way, but just to give the impression. Or maybe I will fill it in a little bit. It still looks like teeth. Let's see. We zoom out. I just looked at him zoomed out for the first time. That's pretty good. We're getting there. It's when you get all close though, it gets all pixely. That's the problem. What if we just go with that? How about that? And then we can give it just a little bit of, yeah, just the faintest bit. That looks fine. I think I like that. Well, if I show the edge of it like that, that might help. And I give a little bit of shadow. I don't know, I'm obsessing about the lip. I just want to get it right. Let's see how that looks. Back that up. Back that shit up. Oh, whoops. Yeah, that looks fine. Just want to touch up this. Yeah, okay. And I can always go over in other layers and sort of manicure it. One thing I will do though. Whoops. Forgot which one that was. I'm gonna shrink his face down a little bit. Yeah, let's get that nice and small. Make it a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. That's good right there. Yeah, I like that. I like that. All right, let's continue with this little boy, and I feel like his ear is kind of a little misplaced. No, B, yeah, B. Yeah, that's fair. Let's get that right there. Cool. Oh, yep. Okay. Just cover that up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really. I don't know. I'm phobic towards groups of people. No, I'm towards. God, that's not even like really funny to say as a joke, but like vector art programs. I usually only do like bitmap stuff. Hold on, let's see here. Yeah, it's still got another 10 minutes. What was it that? Oh, what's up, Lawrence? Give me a sec. Maybe that's you. Yeah, let's get you on. Let's get you down, Lawrence. If you want to call me, I think the yeah. I'm on Discord now, so if you want to come in the call. I need Wartar. Whoa. You know what I should do? I should share this drawing in this stream with I could just add. Yeah, well, hold on. I could literally just oh, here we go. Hey, what's up, bud? Hello. Yo.
Yo.
What's good, dude?
Were you able to figure out the thing?
Here, talk some.
I'm gonna keep talking some. Let's see if it actually works this time.
That green ass line is going up.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that green line's getting real long, like my dick, because I'm so happy. Well, let's not get too happy. Let's not blow our load just yet. But
Gotcha.
Can you check the this YouTube stream and see if you can hear yourself?
Let me check it right now. Fucking. Yep, I can hear it. I can hear it.
Fuck yes. Oh man, this is. I feel like celebrating. That's why I just opened a beer. I'm just gonna try to put it somewhere.
Figure out what was the.
Huh?
Were you able to figure out what was the issue, or what you had to tweak up?
Dude, I feel bad that I was so distracted last night. I was just like going through like 5 different menus that all gave me like very similar sort of like readouts in terms of like what the audio is doing, but I don't know shit when it comes to audio, so unfortunately I was really stumped. But I was able to make the green line go up, so you know,
nice.
no worth in worrying about it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm just drawing a little man, as you can see. But yeah, and I'm supposed to have another person. It'd be great if they could join me on Discord.
Delay on my
oh wait, hold on.
monitor. So
okay, sorry, the YouTube stream just started for some reason. Anyway, how's it going? How's your day been?
It's been nice. I kind of see. I was still feeling a little sick, so I called out of work. Had a friend come over earlier, and we were kind of just shooting the shits. Recently, I've been kind of, in order to, blow away my woes and kind of just keep me
blow your woes?
Blow away my woes, yes.
Okay.
I know, yeah. The English language is my bitch right now. That's exactly what's happening. What happened was,
look, I know I should have
just kind of, still in that transition period between like part-time work and full-time work, since I got one more semester to go at Rutgers before I'm finally done with that, and I can just move on with my life.
Yeah.
But right now, since like the whole debacle with my girlfriend, whether that happens or not, whether that goes through, that's kind of just been keeping me blue. So I just started up a magic group with some old friends and getting back in touch with some friends.
Oh, magic, like performing magic on stage?
No.
I
wish I was that talented.
Street performing?
No. The card game.
Oh, you mean the bullshit kind of magic? Don't you
Yeah.
take that magicians? It's a whole art form. You can't just. All right. Um. It's
I feel
yeah.
like
What?
I feel like I'd call that like performance magic, or like I would say like I don't know, eh, street magic. Just feeling just like playing magic. I think the key word is playing in that case.
Sure. I mean, you play with people's expectations.
This is
Okay.
true. This is
I'm
true.
really just like having fun with semantics, or not really having fun, but just annoying myself.
Uh, it's
Do you,
all good.
this is a kind of a non sequitur, and it's kind of like you were just explaining how your
Shoot.
day went. But do you ever like this phenomenon happened more when I was a kid, and I feel kind of really guilty about it to this day. But where like I would be hanging out with a friend, and then I would just kind of get bored after a while. But I wouldn't just say, "Hey," like
Hmm.
I'm like my social, meter is like my tank is empty. I would just like start to be like annoying and kind of mean to like entertain myself, I guess, in a weird way. I don't know. It seems like really
Uh,
sadistic now that I really break it down.
I think it's very self-serving. I don't know if it would say it's sadistic per se, because I think your goal isn't to make them miserable as much as it is to just amuse yourself.
But is it me amusing myself, or is it me trying to like get them to disengage and like give me space, but like I'm not even aware of it. I don't know. It's kind
I
of
don't
a
know.
weird psychological thing that I sort of noticed myself doing.
Well, let me give you a story, or a little brief little thing. Um, when I was a kid, I didn't as much. Not all of my friends were friends that I chose myself. They were often family friends, or like basically all the Russian families were friends. So basically, I was by proxy friends with their kids. And some of them were great. Some of them were good friends of mine, especially from like elementary school. But I remember I was friends with this kid, Nick, whose family was like very good friends with my family for a long time. And that kid was as interesting as a piece of wood. Like I remember one time he came over and he wasn't feeling it and I wasn't feeling it. And legit at one point I'm like literally like saying to him, I'm like calling a friend saying, "Yo, you want to hang?" Well, he's still at the house, just sitting there twiddling his thumbs. And
Oh,
like
that's kind of
it didn't
depressing.
really occur. It is, but I think he didn't feel like he was having a good time there either. So kind of we were just both like, "Fuck it, just whatever."
Yeah, but were you actually
And
like mean to each other though?
not really. No, I wouldn't say I went that far. I think
Okay.
it never. No, no. I think everyone does it differently. But it was essentially the same thing, though. It's the same idea that you are not enjoying this company, and whether it is to make it either whether the intent is to make it as uncomfortable for them so they disengage, or you're just amusing yourself, or you just don't want to be there. Period. I think we all just have our own mechanisms to that sorts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I ever did that though. I think as a kid I was a lot more tactless with that shit though, because I remember once like this is way back in our friendship, me and Jesse's friendship. This is like we had to be like in 6th or 7th grade. We had just started being friends, and Jesse was a lot more nocturnal than I was. Like he would like I don't know, like midnight or whatever. I was asleep by like 10 or 9. And whatever happened was he was over. Literally, we were chilling, and all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm sleepy. Jesse, can you get the fuck out of my house?
Yeah.
And the way I said it, however I said it, was apparently my mom had overheard it, and it just was like, Lawrence, you can't just do that. And I'm like, why not? I'm tired.
Okay.
And just like didn't click.
Hey man, sorry to interrupt you. I'm getting yeah, okay, a messenger video.
Uh,
Hopefully this will work out where I have one person on Discord and then another person
you can just
on
do like a
Facebook.
messenger group on Facebook.
Do you want to join the
Yeah,
call,
sure.
I guess, or no?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It would probably make a lot more sense.
I mean, I was hoping I could get him on here. Yo, Matt, you there? Hello? Hello? Here, let me turn my music down or off. Hello? That's so weird. Oh, it's just loading? Allow camera and microphone. Okay. That's what? Oh, okay. I guess it's just loading. No answer.
I guess.
What? Missed a video chat. Hold on.
Hello.
Yo, what's good, my dude?
Thi-
What? Hello? Oh, this might be tanking my computer.
Things and such. So, is this the podcast
I mean, not
completely
exact.
connected?
Yeah. Are you? Hold on. You're kind of frozen. Matt, do you have a Discord?
I do.
Okay. Do you want to jump on Discord instead? Because I have you and someone else on the call. I hope that's okay.
Okay.
It's my friend
Let's go
Lawrence.
into the let's go into the Discord.
All right. If you look on my Facebook, I just posted, or look on the YouTube video. Either one, they should have a link to the Discord where you can find the server, I guess it's called.
Okay.
All right. You want to jump on there?
I'll see you then.
All right, yeah,
Yeah.
just jump on there and I'll call me right there.
Okay.
Anyway, you're still there, Lawrence, right?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Okay. Did you hear that whole exchange? I'm not entirely sure
I,
if that's
I
getting
heard
picked up.
your half.
Okay, that would make sense. You should
Mhm.
still be able to hear him. You didn't hear anything from him?
I heard like a little bit. I heard like the, I guess whatever was coming through your side.
Okay. That's weird because you should be able to hear him at the same level that I do, but whatever. I'm just going to keep that Discord open. I hope I have this right. Are we on Beepo? Are you on
No,
Beepo?
no. We're just in the personal chat. What you can do is see the thing is all right. So you see the chat. There should be in the top right corner a search bar.
Yes.
If you see the thing right to the left of it says add friends to DM, you can add him to the call, I believe.
Okay. Add him to not Beepo. This call. Hello. Oh shit. Fuck. Did this crash?
Okay, hold on a second here. Okay, yeah, you just gotta go into Beepo. Just press.
Oh god. Oh god. Sorry, I think my computer's like really chugging along here. I have like a bunch
It's
of
all
different
good.
applications open.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna go into Beepo. I'll meet you there.
Okay. Uh, voice connected.
Discord. Here we go. The new Cinder.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
I hear everyone.
Yeah.
Hello.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
So I see that on the computer there's on the Facebook video there's like animation software going on. Is that what people are watching while listening?
Yep. It's like
Okay.
yeah, it's this program called Medibang.
Some
And,
ASMR stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's a compliment, I think. If you're saying just me talking is ASMR.
Pleasant noises. Yeah.
Oh, plus
Yeah.
I'm drinking a beer.
Oh, beer is ASMR for sure. Yeah, especially when you get all tingly and everything.
Oh yeah, can you
And,
hear the bubbles like fizzing through the mic? I don't know.
I unfortunately cannot. I think you're going to have to make those sounds another way.
A little bit too soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, someone just got shot up outside really quietly. That's what that was.
Oh damn. Wow, it's a bad neighborhood.
Someone got shot out.
It was
Yeah,
they used a
ASMR
silencer,
shooting.
Mm.
and the guy they killed was eating a bowl of Rice Krispie treats and Pop Rocks at the same time, which you're not
And
supposed to
landed-
do.
Oh god.
For a second, I thought you were serious too. Like, oh, somebody got shot with a silencer in my
No.
neighborhood.
I was making a tiny pop noise with my mouth. But anyway,
Oh, okay. Well, if only
It's a
that could
trick.
kill people.
it's been known to. But anyway, so yeah, Matt. So I don't know. We've had sort of like little powwows in the past.
Oh, you talking about that again?
No, I'm just talking about like how we like know each other and like I'm not gonna like I don't know fucking. I'm
Oh,
not
talk
gonna,
about political discussions that we've had. You're just
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
like we
yeah,
were in the
yeah.
improv troupe and all that. Okay.
well, I
yes,
mean,
of course.
I wasn't gonna go into depth. I'm just gonna say like we have like a what's it called a certain type of relationship where we like discuss these kinds of things. So I sort of
Okay.
encourage. I realize that a lot of people, friends and people on Facebook, it's like I agree with most of them on a lot of topics, but it's not often that I find people that I kind of disagree with fundamentally, but I still
Hmm.
I still consider them. I'm still friendly with them, you know. Like Matt,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to call us friends, but it's and I feel almost kind of conflicted calling us friends, but at
Well,
the
sure.
same
Why
time,
not? Let's call us friends. I mean,
yeah, sure. There's no
what's
reason.
the point of like, oh yeah, we look at politics differently. What's the point of disputing about that? That's what
Well,
they want you to do.
I don't know who they is, but we don't have to get into that. We can get into the topic that you wanted to discuss, right?
Yeah, sure. Healthy eating, which sounds
Oh.
boring, but
Not necessarily.
no, of course not necessarily. That's not the point. But the thing that I really wanted to talk about more or less was how different people's diets are special for them because their metabolisms are all different. Like that's so weird, you know. Some people can
Yeah.
like pull off a carnivore diet and lose all this weight and feel really healthy, and then other people like get sick and vomit after the first week, and it's just not what they want. And some people can like be vegetarians, and then other people
Okay.
like they need animal protein or else they're gonna get sick. You know, it's like all
Right.
this.
And there's
Um,
people who like animal protein makes them sick. Yeah. There's
yeah,
all kinds.
yeah. I think that's very strange though. The one with the animal protein makes them sick, but
Well, it
see,
might even
that's
just
what's
be
weird
a
because
psychological thing, you know, like they don't like I dated a girl who it's just like the smell of like cooking meat, like because she had been a vegetarian for so long, just made her, you know,
Mhm.
stomach turn. Which I
Yeah,
get.
and also the difference between vegetarian and veganism, and it just seems that there's like just too much research saying that being vegan is just not good for you. Like
Um
you need some type of animal enzyme, whether it be dairy or eggs. But
I
going
don't
vegan is just not great for your brain.
Mhm.
I wouldn't I don't like I'm not a nutritionist, so that's the thing. It's like I'm really only going to be speaking, you know, as a layman, but from what I understand, like so many people are vegan nowadays and it seems to be working out for like the lion's share of them, but I would say that being vegan doesn't necessarily mean you're getting like a healthy diet in. Like Oreos are vegan, Doritos, I think some of them are vegan. Like there's really junky, shitty food that's just because it's so processed, it just doesn't necessitate like gluten or whatever, and all the other like animal products and whatnot. But
Well,
they
are
do.
Oreos vegan though? Because they got milk inside the cream in the center.
Do
That's not
they?
vegan.
I
I thought they don't actually have cream in them, or they
don't.
don't have. It's not cream. It's like
Yeah,
cream-ish, but it's not. I don't think it's
yeah.
actually cream.
Because you gotta
It's
imagine.
like
Sorry,
licorice or something. It's
It's like
made out of
fake cream.
licorice or
I don't know.
It's not
fake
real cream.
cream,
I don't know if it's liquor. I mean, maybe it is
almond milk.
ligature, but it's like anything that's dairy, it would like spoil if it was left out, right? So that's why I was looking at like there was like what's it called, Slim Jims, but then there was like a cheese thing next to it. I'm like, that's not cheese because it's out where the Slim Jims are. It's not in a cool place, right? It's not in a cold area, so
Uh,
that can't be cheese.
I think that there are certain cheeses that you can make with certain bacteria and you can leave them out. Especially considering the fact that when cheese was invented, the whole point of it was to store it for very long periods of time. Like if you have Pecorino Romano, that'll last you like decades, you know, because that's when it was made. The recipe was meant to last decades, and it's kind of how people sort of survived winters in Italy and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
And you
winter
know,
it's
they
cold.
invented these cheeses.
Yeah, but in winter it's like and like most like you know I don't know.
Well,
Think
in the
of like
houses, it was room temperature.
well, okay. So
leave it
here's the thing.
outside.
I think there's a few things. Number one, those things can be salted and stored. Number
Yeah,
two,
yeah,
I think the point that Aiden's making is that if it's next to the Slim Jims, it's probably not the most high quality thing, anyways.
yeah. And it's also
No,
made
I'm
by
just
Slim
trying to
Jims.
give it some credit, you know, because I'm trying to see how many possible ways you could make similar product, or maybe the product itself
Uh,
has a thing in there that's
Well,
like,
the
hey,
thing,
let's say that's heavily salted, you know?
yeah, the thing is though, I mean, salt too, but like, you know, who's to say that's like good for you? And if your thing is like 40% salt, it's like, again, like how much of it is cheese anymore? But again, like
That's
I'm,
kind of familiar.
but fuck, sorry, I thought I had a point there, but I think it
Oh,
eluded me.
I was thinking it's funny that a
Oh,
lot of diets.
I got it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, like the fact that like yeah, so preservatives, like you're right, like salt is like technically a preservative, but it doesn't mean that like it's processed, you know. And I'm thinking like something that's in like you know, I don't know, just like a weird cellophane wrapper again, like next to the Slim Jims in a gas station. It's like it's hard pressed to call it cheese anymore, you know, just because it's been so diluted.
Uh-huh.
And it's like you know, we had this whole discussion in like one of my arts. It was like a sculpture class, but for some reason we were discussing more like philosophical concepts for parts of it. And oh shit, that's white. I hate white. I hate the whites. Sorry, I'm drawing. Um,
Yeah.
and but we were talking about oh fuck. Again, I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about cheese in your sculpture class.
Oh yeah, sorry. The natural versus unnatural, like what the dichotomy is, and my sort of like feelings on that. It's sort of like a very human question. Like these are concepts that we engineered. You know, like time. That there is really no dichotomy between natural and unnatural in the natural world, like in the observable world, right? It's all just sort of social like projection. It's like, oh, you take these almonds and then like they're natural, right? But then you grind them up into like almond dust. It's like, are they now processed? Are they now like unnatural? If you like incorporate them into like a larger, at what point does it cross that bound from being natural to unnatural?
Well,
So,
here's a funny thing. Okay, so is a house natural?
No.
Okay, so is a beehive natural?
Yes.
Well, why is a beehive natural but not a house? I mean, a house, you chop down a tree, you assemble the wood, you make a house.
Look,
A bee, it chews up wood, it assembles a hive. Now it's unnatural.
that's how
You
it
could say
assembles
that-
the hive. Choose wood.
So you could say the beehive is unnatural, or that human connections are natural. I think to a certain extent, you're saying that something is unnatural because we're the ones making it, and we must not be natural, but we're a part of nature. So I think that any human creation is natural.
Okay, so no, Matt, I see what you're going at here, and this is kind of going almost into the argument of like the ship of Theseus, kind of. But like,
Yeah.
Theseus, what's that?
okay, so here's a thought. The whole story goes: the famous mythological character from Greek mythology, Theseus, was on a ship for many years. When he starts his journey, he's on a ship made of wood. But over time, obviously, certain planks get worn out and destroyed. He has to replace them. If he replaces one plank on that ship, is it the same ship?
Yeah.
If he replaces like now two planks, or for example, like he replaced one and then some time passes, then another one gets replaced, right? Still the same ship. If over the course of, let's say, 20 years, he has to replace every single plank on that ship, by the end of the journey, is it still the same ship?
I would say that he could effectively call it the same ship because it has the same function of identity.
Sure.
Okay.
But also, you could argue by like certain principles that it is not the same ship he started on. He did not come back on the same exact ship that he left on. And there's no answer to this riddle, but the point is that it's kind of like it is a discussion about what makes a person. They say that the human body
Every
replaces
7
cells.
years. Yeah.
Exactly. So are we the same person we were before? You could argue psychologically, spiritually, if you want to go into that stuff. Yes, we are the same person. But even then, they say that like your personality changes over the course of your life. Every few years, you're kind of changing your outlook on life, your experiences. Are you truly the same person you were 10 years ago?
Well, here's the thing about personality and brain structures is that usually by the age of 5, there is a certain abstract pattern of your brain that's set for.
Sure.
And by the time you're 25, there's also a more malleable set of whatever it is that you are. Now, of course, you could change a lot of perceptions in the way you go about things. You can change your neuro-linguistic programming. You can change the associations you have with different words. You can ultimately perform differently in society as a different character, and you're going to have, you might even change your tastes in things, although tastes and aesthetics are usually a little bit more predetermined past a certain point, like 13 or 14, people were saying. And then when you pick up new interests, it's because they have some sort of abstract relative significance. Now, when we're talking about abstract relative significance, we're talking about the abstraction that you would say people like bass in their music because it reminds them of the mother's heart beating. Like that's a deep abstraction, but the same way that by the time you're 5, you have all of these really, really unconscious ways of looking at positioning and shapes and your relation to those shapes and your relation to time and your relation to color and stuff like that, your relation to sound, your relation to sound, basically, I would say, pitch and timbre. The point is that to a certain extent, people who are not you see things so differently from you, it's outrageous that, every single person, the actual way that you would associate your body with the world as one person as opposed to another is like completely different. So people really are not the same on that regard, and it's this big filtration system against the things that might make us similar.
Well,
So-
sorry, Matt. I didn't mean to cut you off. This is a very I don't know. I have to say, it's a very interesting way, the way you sort of analyze things.
Mhm.
And I pretty much agree with like most of the things you seem to be talking about. Again, I'm not like a neuroscientist or whatever, so you'd have to sort of like dig into like when these things really set in terms of like, but yeah. So one of the things I've been trying to think about is like what is like a learned behavior and what is a more like fundamental like character trait, like the
Mhm.
parts of us that we can change versus the parts of us that we have either we can't change or more likely I think where it's just much harder to change.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I don't know, maybe if you want to like speak to that a little bit, like a person's capacity for change.
I think
The-
the things that you can't change about yourself are the things that you will never be able to understand what they are to begin with. If you can
Mhm.
conceptualize something about yourself, then you'll eventually be able to change it at some point.
Mhm.
Like there will be a point in which if you can conceptualize it, you can change it. If you can't conceptualize it, then you can't.
Ah,
Okay.
That's my theory at the moment. Because it
I
seems like there are a lot of things. I think there's a lot of things, and this could be a limit of language also. We might find in a couple thousand years or something when we have all these new words to describe things as, the field of psychology advances and neuroscience and stuff. We might get to the point where just by speaking a few sentences, you can completely change somebody's personality by our modern standards. And by the future standards, there's way more things that you can't change about that we didn't realize. So it's kind of like every so many years we enhance our free will because we're able to discover things about us. And the more you discover about yourself, the more free will you have because you open yourself up to understanding your circumstance besides the most recent causal events.
I agree and disagree.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Let's hear your take.
So, number one, I'd like to say what I agree. I completely agree with the point that the first step to being able to fix or change oneself is to understand the actual intricacies behind those habits, behind those behaviors, and whatnot. I was raised on and learned the basic idea, the principles that most things that we take as a construct of ourselves are a mixture of obviously, what was it? I want to say not precognitive. Almost like certain kinds of tendencies that we're born with through our genetics. Like there's certain tendencies that we're drawn towards for whatever reason, and from those tendencies, we develop habits, right?
Mhm.
But my problem is, and this is where I almost think that I think that your perception is almost too optimistic, because I think so. I go to a therapist, for example, and my therapist always tells me that she says the greatest issue are not the people who are ignorant. Her greatest issue or her most difficult cases are the people who have enough self-awareness to understand what's wrong with them, but lack either the moral fiber, the initiative, or the will to actually take the actions to change their habits, even when they're fully aware of it. And this is referring to me in most cases. I have a good grasp, I like to believe at least, of the problems that I have, the habits that I make of myself. But the issue is that requires habit, that requires changing our habits, that requires taking action in order to change the way that we live our lives. It's like
And
there's
why
the-
don't you want to change your habits?
it's one of those cases. It's a comfort thing. I think one
Well, it's
part of
not
it is
that he
greatly is
doesn't want
comfort. I
to.
think
It's that he
it's
doesn't want
it's
to
difficult. It is
make the actionable like steps
Because
to,
it's a
to
non-intellectual. It's like a
changing my habits.
non-intellectual thing. You probably have to like.
well, just because
Go
it's not intellectual doesn't mean it's not like psychological, right? Not that I'm correcting you. I'm just
No,
sort of
but
clarifying.
you could still like start by looking up. I would think to a certain extent that and let's say that me and him could be in the same boat hypothetically, but I was in his boat before, and the way that I got out of it was I started pay more attention to my bodily sensations. And
Mhm.
then when you pay more attention to your bodily sensations, you start to realize that there are things about yourself that you weren't aware of, but they're being communicated to you in another way because there's a linguistic part of your brain, which is what's allowing you to be aware of certain parts of yourself. And I think a lot of that, when people only go through their mind linguistically, they're sort of keeping track of everything that they have ever said to them, but they're not thinking about why they said those things, or they're not thinking about like the subtext or anything like that. They're thinking a lot about a lot of these, verbal things. And a lot of the times when you're talking, you're saying a lot of shit that you don't really mean, and you don't realize that you're saying a bunch of shit that you don't really mean because you're only paying attention to the verbal sequences. And you already said, well, it's a comfort thing. So, okay, well, it's a comfort thing. Then that means that you have some uncomfortable bodily emotions that you don't want to do certain things because it's going to make you feel a certain way and it's going to be uncomfortable. Okay, well, that means you have to change your perception. Well, how do you change your perception? Well, you're going to have to think about that, but it's probably going to involve some trial and error of trying different habits of different ways that you're doing stuff. And, personally, I found that therapy isn't the best thing at all. It's better that you try to figure out how you're going to get your goals, and you're going to read books about it. And when you read books, you read enough books about trying to achieve one goal, you start to see the multiple perceptions of
Matt,
how you go about doing that.
Matt,
And then,
can I just ask you,
what?
do you mean when you said therapy, it's not therapy, were you talking about yourself or just in general?
I am talking about myself, and I'm going to say my opinion.
No,
And
but
my
I mean, like,
opinion is
was
that
that like prescriptive? Like, it's not, because the way you were talking about, I wasn't sure if you meant specifically for you or you meant for like everybody. But therapy's
I
kind of
would
like
I'd recommend other people stop going to therapy and start trying to read books on how to change their life and try to see the different ways in which they can go about it, and then try to find like the common philosophies between those different books, and then do and then see what happens. That's my advice. I don't, a therapy. Well, all you do is you just go there for an hour. You talk about the stuff that you don't really realize you're supposed to be talking about, this and that, and then you have to get down and do stuff, and you don't want to do it, but then well, that's what you have to do. You have to do the stuff.
I mean, it sounds
Don't
like
get
you've
me-
had a pretty bad experience with therapy, but yeah, I
No,
think it's kind
they
of
were
coloring your
doing. I guess they
position.
were doing their best.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think that therapy is good for everybody. I do think that it is something that it's worth trying. Let me put it this way. I think that I found that oftentimes when you talk to, so first of all, it comes down to whether or not you want to reflect these ideas on a person. If you want to reflect them on a person or not, that's
Matt,
your
are you
prerogative.
blowing your nose on mic, dude?
Oh
Bruh.
no, I had something. I had like a piece of
Okay.
buzz in my mouth. It was
Okay,
like a
just
dust bunny.
just watch it out.
I-
Sorry, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It
it's-
probably blew your microphone. I know.
No, it's
it's-
okay. It's just gross.
it's fine. It's no, it's all right, so here's the thing. I have found that certain people therapy isn't for them. You're right. I would suggest people try it. I think that a lot of people don't necessarily either have the patience, I don't want to say the literacy because that's what's very
Yeah,
brave to people.
there's an emotional vocabulary involved. Yeah, and some people they just don't have it.
Like, not everybody can read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius and kind of get something out of that. I think a lot of people do need to consume this information either through another person, through a professional who can kind of explain it to them better, or friends. I don't suggest necessarily friends, not because I don't think the friend can help not, but it's the issue is that there is a bias there. The friends or a close person in your life, oftentimes they are trying their best to help you, but they are seeing it from a very specific perspective. They're seeing it from the perspective of a friend, of a family member.
It's also a conflict
What
of
it-
interest a lot of times.
That too.
Like
With a therapist,
Matt, like, yeah, I'm just this is not me like arguing with you, but like I'm just presenting the point. It's like, don't you think it could be a positive thing to have somebody that you can just sort of tell anything that's on your mind without feeling the
Just the
need
catharsis of
to
it.
be
Well, if you
vilified or-
absolutely need that, if that's what you absolutely need, for sure. I have people in my life that I could do that for.
Well,
So that
but that's
could also.
that's the thing though.
and
Like,
not-
first of all, not everyone has that, but also like, again, so if you're talking specifically for you, I think this kind of mentality, like, I don't know you, like this therapy might very well not be for you. Like, I think those people do exist, but to then broaden that statement to like therapy is kind of like bad. And I'm like, well, let's talk about the ways that therapy can be bad, but like to kind of like hand wave it and say like, oh, therapy is just, you're just talking about your feelings. It's not changing anything. Like maybe I'm misrepresenting your point, but that's what it feels like you're sort of, coming. That's what you're saying.
You misrepresent my point. But so
did I? I don't know.
What I was, yeah, you did, but that's not a big deal. But
oh no, but so correct me. Like, yeah, please clarify your point.
Nope. So anyway, what I was gonna say is that if you're as a utility to
sorry, can you restart?
Solve absolutely everything. I don't think.
Sorry, the first part of your sentence got cut off. I didn't hear it. Could you just restart?
Oh, okay. Well, I think that it should not be used as a utility. Dude,
I'm so sorry. You keep on roboting out. I don't know what it is. I swear to God, I'm not like trolling you. Like I literally can't hear you. So I don't want to get like into a thought. Yeah, but so.
Do you hear me now?
Okay, I think I've seen the little like green square. Let me try to like. Oh shit! I wonder if closing a program will make it chug even slower.
Lordy.
Yeah. Let me close Slay the Spire. Maybe I'll do a gaming stream at some point, and I'll like show you the characters that I downloaded. But I also don't want to spoil them for you. But
it's not a big deal.
It might really just be interesting.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Yeah. Oh, like the guy, like this, like the.
I'm gonna hop back. I'm gonna hop.
What?
Oh, and now your thing screwed up on my end. Okay, so anyway, now as I was saying, I would say it is not good as a prime utility. The main thing that you're doing.
Wait,
done is the main thing.
Can you define that?
The main thing? Okay, let's think. So everything that
like
you
9
do.
hours a day?
Well, I mean, some people do that, but I'm saying
who goes to therapy 9 hours a day? I mean, unless you're like
if you're in an outpatient program, it could be 9 hours easily.
But these are kind of like specific cases where it's like there's kind of intervention involved. I'm assuming where it's like.
No, just you're really crazy. You go to an outpatient program.
You just said you're really crazy.
You go to an inpatient program. Oh yeah.
I don't get it.
You can like really do those things.
But I'm saying that the long hours are sort of like evident of a like necessity for. I'm not saying in every case. Maybe there's people who are like so self-indulgent or introspective they go to therapy 9 hours a day. I'm not even saying there's a problem with that. I'm just saying that's not the way that people. That's sort of like an exaggeration of like the way people use therapy. I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what it is. No, they usually have a test. And then, well, not a test, like you take a test to get your grade, but it's kind of like, an interview, and then they decide whether or not you're going to, any type of situation like that, whereas like, I guess a psychologist, you don't really have much of an interview. You just, do your first session and then you do your subsequent sessions. And
dude, like psychiatry, that. I could shit on that for fucking days, man.
Psychiatry is another one too, especially if you,
I'm sure there's
a lot
of good psychiatrists out there, but.
No, the best way to go to a psychiatrist is to actually study the medicine and the chemicals, like study classes of drugs, study study what dopamine, oxytocin, all that stuff, and study the actual drugs and how they work, and then talk to your doctor about that, and then
I mean, I'm not like a medical professional, so I don't have like the kind of knowledge of the intimate knowledge of these drugs, and like but I'm not saying that like.
Just do a Wikipedia on them.
Yeah, but like it's good to do your research, but ultimately to even get to prescribe them in the first place, I'm going to need to go through a psychiatrist. So,
Yeah. Well, that's part of the process. Talk to the psychiatrist about the actual chemicals and all that.
Yeah, it's weird. Like so, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to get like arrested or whatever, but I took Adderall before I was ever prescribed it, right? Because how else would I know that I think I, should be prescribed it. So now I'm prescribed it, but it's like the difference between, I guess, like a felony and like doing something that's like advantageous to society, i.e. taking your meds, is like just the line is really murky there,
Well, you'd be in worse trouble if you were selling it.
I guess so. Yeah. Good thing I never did that.
And anytime you talk about this stuff over like
Hello? Oh, the FBI shut my stream down. Oh, shit. Hello? Dude, it's the cops. Hello? Hello? Did my call get dropped? Test, test, test. Test. Hello? What the fuck?
To actually stab somebody up. They're not trying to get into the drug stuff so much.
Hello?
It's a
Oh,
nice
sorry. You just
thing
cut
to
out.
catch people.
I didn't hear the last like 30 seconds of whatever you were saying.
Maybe you can listen to it on the live stream.
Do you want me
Ooh.
Wait, was that a ooh worthy moment? Okay.
Kinda.
Oh, you didn't hear that either?
No, I heard it.
No, I heard
I
you
enjoyed
saying
this.
ooh,
This
but
guy hears it.
anyway.
I told you to go check it on the live stream later. Watch it not even be in there.
Yeah, but that's not
I hear
good for
myself
me.
talking.
That's not good for me in the conversation right now. So
You know, I honestly don't remember what I was saying, so I think we should go back to nutrition because that was like the because
Okay.
we got like so far off of that. So let's think
well, I
about
usually
natural
just go
food.
with whatever seems most interesting at the point. But yeah, we can talk about
Yeah,
nutrition again.
it's kind of like you shouldn't feel bad. You shouldn't feel. Let me put it this way: don't feel too attached. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Oh
Good.
yeah,
Wherever it really.
Otherwise-
you gotta do that letting go stuff. that
Yes,
the
and we did
Buddhists tell
improv
you.
in college. You got a yes and.
I'm sensing some sarcasm there about the letting go process.
What me?
The
It's
letting
like-
go process. Well, hey, what can you say? Sometimes you don't want to let go of stuff because it's good for you. Kind of
Sure, but
like every now and then, diet, and then once a week go to the Chinese buffet.
Sure.
Why'd you
And not
say
only
buffet
that-
like that? You
But
said it
not
like an
only
80s
that-
like road comic. Buffet.
Chinese buffet, man. You gotta go to the Chinese buffet and eat healthy for the most part. Because you could eat healthy at the Chinese buffet for the most part. I mean,
It becomes a question of why do you go out then? It's like if eating healthy is your goal, sure. But I think it's also why like some people, I don't know if cheat days are good or not. I am not sure. But that's why like you always hear it's like because like if you're gonna why torture yourself like that? If you were eating healthy, but if you go to like a Chinese buffet and try to eat healthy, it feels like you're fighting against yourself. You either
no, man. You use the clams. Yeah, you can eat the sushi. All the weird vegetables
It's
they
a
got,
Chinese
like the bok
buffet.
choy. Yeah,
trust me,
dude,
there's bad
Chinese-
sushi at a Chinese buffet. Trust me.
Okay.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's still fish, you know.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, let's say you're doing low carb. You go in and eat the seafood. That's fine.
Okay.
I guess, but it's like one of those cases where like maybe I'm just not getting it. Maybe it's like I feel like when I splurge, and once again, I'm
Oh God,
far from the
gross!
healthiest person.
Don't tell us that. We don't want to hear about your splurging.
You didn't? I thought we were friends.
Okay.
Come on, man. you got to go back to your no fap.
Nope. It's a little late/early
So
for
it's
that.
a little late. It's a little late in the evening for no faps.
I was talking about the month. I ain't talking about the time. It's perfect. It's always a
I
good
know
time.
that was my okay. That was my
The
funny.
joke, son. I missed it. It flew right past me.
What? Okay.
No Jewel July. No hitting the Jewel for
What?
the
No
month of
Jew
July.
All right, anti-Semite.
Jewel.
Get on my stream.
I think I have to get off the stream now. I'm
Yeah.
not welcome here no more.
Careful now.
Oh, you guys are Jewish, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I am. I don't know about Aiden. Actually, Aiden, are you Jewish?
No, I just have a Jewish nose.
Hey.
People think I'm
Oh.
Jewish. Yeah, people
That's my
think I'm
Jewish
Jewish because
humor.
I'm the Jewish nose. I got the Polish blood. I got the
gotcha.
Russian blood.
Wait,
Well,
your blood
wait.
is Russian? Oh, it is red.
Hey.
Hey.
No, well, yeah, but there's red in the Polish flag and there's red in the Russian flag, so it all makes sense.
All red to me.
There's red in all of the flags of all of the countries where I herald,
Mm.
which is also Italy, Spain, and France.
Nice, man.
And perhaps there's more. If I take one of those tests, I will see what countries more I herald.
Yeah, I don't. I heard.
I
from somewhere
bet you
that
they
some of
have
those
red
tests
in
are
their
bunk.
flags.
Oh yeah. I heard like like from different sources that those tests are bunk. Like twin sisters did the same test and they got totally different results. I don't know. I'm sure there's some like science to it, right? Like you should be able to figure that out to some extent, but I don't know how accurate they are. I guess
What if it's true though? What if twin sisters have different ancestries?
That's
impossible.
uh,
That's literally
identical.
impossible.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
physically impossible.
Well,
Yeah.
let's think about it this way: how many generations does it go back? And then what
It's
genes
the
are
same
being
generation. You have the same parents.
No, man. What I'm saying is, how many generations are they calculating the percentages on the chart back? So let's say they're going back 500 generations, and that's
Uh-huh.
why you can see that you have like
What?
17% German, even
Matt,
though
Matt, I think you're missing the point.
It's the same.
He's
I
saying
know
that
what
literally-
I know what he's saying, and what I'm saying is, what if that because twins are expressing different genes like that they
That's worked that way.
no, man, that's not what I'm saying. Is that like if they're expressing different genes, and let's say it goes back 500 generations, and your twin sister is expressing different genes from you, and that would bring out the German side.
Wait, what do you
And
mean?
then your
what do you mean
genes are bringing
specific
out the
genes?
Russian side.
It's like
What do you mean by express?
Express like what the fucking Gattaca shit is look that they.
dude,
And
you're super roboting out for me. I don't know why, but it's
This
like
sucks
every other word.
so much ass.
It's
I
so
wish
weird. Anytime I
This sucks
feel like
robot ass.
Yeah. Sorry.
Um,
Speak low and slow.
it's like I.
It's only
I
you
feel-
for some reason. I don't know why.
Yesterday was my vice.
No,
and
you know why?
today-
Because I
today's
have-
Matt's.
PCS. I have Metro PCS. That's what it is.
Oh
Okay.
right, you're doing this on a phone. Okay.
It's my Metro. Oh.
Hey, it's everybody's Metro. Okay.
Goodness.
Well, not if you live in a rural area like me.
Oh.
Good
Oh,
gracious.
you live in rural?
It's not Yeah.
Where do you live? Dox yourself.
I live in Ewing. But I live in the part of Ewing that's not close to Trenton. I lived in the part of Ewing that's close to Titusville. So
Okay.
there's far enough.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in the farms in the woods
Okay.
and also a highway. It's a really weird location. It's farms, woods, and a highway.
Hey, that's cool. I was born on a highway. No, I wasn't.
Your mom conceived you while you were in
Hey,
the
stop
car.
talking about
of
my
the
mom, okay? Don't come
No,
on my
so
stream and talk
your
about my mom.
Your
She's
mom
a beautiful lady.
gave birth to you on the highway.
Yeah.
You can't escape that.
Well, she
That's
helped.
part of your
I
history.
did most of the work.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just by being natural.
No, I was doing I was like serpentine movements, trying to like
So I got a
wiggle my way
question.
out. Sort of like army crawl through the.
This is probably stupid.
I
Question.
got really
I'm
hungry
gonna-
inside, and I ate my placenta for like energy. I was able to.
You really had to
Oh,
let that
dude,
one
your
out,
mom
didn't you?
must be
Yeah,
pissed.
sorry. I had to go back for that one. Sorry.
Your mom must be pissed that you ate that fucking placenta. That was hers to eat.
I don't know. Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
So
anyway,
what I
so-
gotta ask is, when somebody's giving birth and they're telling her push, why don't doctors push? Why don't they push
Oh,
the
your
fucking
robot
baby out?
fucking
Like,
voice, dog.
no.
This is like a '90s like music video where you just hear someone with like a robot voice.
Damn it, Daft Punk.
Yeah.
This is not harder, better, faster, or stronger of a connection.
Yeah.
Is it, though?
Hey, nice.
Did I make a discovery in the location that I am now standing in?
Nah, just random access memories in it.
Oh, but that's not 90s music, though.
Are you kidding me? It sounds like it's the 70s, but
No, well, actually, yeah, that's funny. Get Lucky does sound like 70s. I think Random Access Memories is their best album because the songs aren't repetitive.
it's
Like-
solid.
It is songs are non-repetitive, and no, they really aren't. Dude,
No,
Discovery and shit is like that. Those songs are so repetitive. It's like 4
They're-
minutes of the same thing.
Don't get me wrong, that's dance music. Period. It's
I don't
that's-
give a shit. I don't want to
Then
dance to something that's
Oh,
super
yeah,
repetitive. I
so,
get bored.
like,
I try to
so-
talk to people at the bar.
So I've talked to Matt about this, but he kind of has like conceptually an issue with like like I tried to tell him like that's what rhythm is like repetition. And it's kind of
Listen,
like
you
and,
can't.
and you can be more repetitive or less
I know what-
repetitive, but like it's kind of integral to like the way that songs work. Unless you have like Claire de Lune, which is like kind of like meandering and it doesn't really have like this kind of set. But it's still, even if you break it down like musically, it still has like bars and all that shit, you know.
I know what rhythm is. I know about rhythm. I know about rhythm. I'm talking about like excessive consistency and pitch. I mean, you can have like the same drum beat for a 9-minute song, but if you're changing keys and stuff, that's cool. You know.
Okay.
You can't account for taste. That's
I mean,
all
what
can
about
say
what about
music.
Kashmir by Led Zeppelin? That's a pretty repetitive drum beat, but there's lots of stuff going on in that
Oh,
song.
Kashmir? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty
But that's-
7 minutes and
But again, like that's kind of like it's not a song that really like derives its like I don't know, sort of feeling from the rhythm, you know? It's got like all the vocals and all the layered like guitar stuff, like Jimmy Page on that, you know, on that
maybe.
that dang old
But
thing.
I think that's like a really ideal dance song. I think Kashmir is a pretty
Kashmir?
ideal dance. Absolutely, yeah. Why not? That's a good dancing song.
Wait, hold on. I think I'm. How does Kashmir? I guess I have to play it now because I can't hear it in my head. I can only hear dun 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 dun.
No, that's Immigrant Song.
I know. But for some reason, I know what. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know what Kashmir sounds. I know that song, but I can't hear it in my head for some reason. It's only being blocked out.
I think so. No, we can't hear it.
I'll listen to it on my own. Give me a sec.
It's danceable. No, it's
Okay.
pretty dance. Okay, maybe. Okay, look. Okay, listen.
Hold
listen,
up.
It is not.
Hold up.
I'm gonna say one thing.
Hold-
I'm gonna say one thing. It is not laughably non-danceable, but it was the first example that I could think of a long song that had consistent rhythm like that. Okay, so it's a long song.
Okay, hold up.
because I
Hold
wasn't really giving a shit about like
Matt-
the specific consistency. What?
Listen, Matt, listen. So I respect your opinion on this one, but
I'm molding my opinion a little bit because I can see how it is not necessarily danceable, but I would also assert that it is not laughably non-danceable.
So
Okay.
it is difficult. It is
You don't
difficult to
have
make.
to apologize.
It is very difficult to make music that is undanceable to. Like, but at the same time, I don't know how to tell you this. But okay, so I am a white man, but I can certainly tell you that this.
Oh, you're gonna go on the
Surprise.
whole white people don't have rhythm thing?
No, I'm just gonna
What the
say that
fuck?
this is the most
Okay.
painfully white thing I've heard all day,
What is?
and it made my day.
Kashmir
okay,
is a
I do
dancing
not-
song.
I do not.
Calling Kashmir a dancing song is the whitest thing I've heard all day.
I don't think it's that non-danceable.
Okay,
I don't-
Matt, this is what I
How
want you to
about
do.
communication?
Like, take out your
No, no,
phone,
no,
right, and
communica-
record yourself dancing to Kashmir, and I can share it with this stream, and you could show us how you dance to Kashmir.
I need to make
All
a
right.
poll now. I need to ask people this.
I'll do it later. But
You know
What's
that GIF of Spider-Man
I-
dancing and how it goes with everything? Put it along to Kashmir and see how it matches up.
but you have to make sure that it's like the right tempo. So anyway,
And that's not
I think
necessarily true.
it
Like that Spider-Man dance
What's a
is supposed
good-
to line up with a lot of things. But anyway,
no. So here's some good other better dancing songs from Led Zeppelin.
From Red
Communication.
Zeppelin.
Yeah, no, from Led Zeppelin.
Why are
we
you
have
caught up on Led
Communication
Zeppelin here?
Breakdown. Because Led Zeppelin
It's a
has
good
some
band.
good dancing songs.
They're
Maybe
good
not
songs.
Kashmir.
They're good songs, but they are not dance songs.
Yeah.
That's
there
what I'm trying to
there
tell
are
you.
dance.
Every
there
time
are
I hear the
dance
rain
songs
song,
of
ooh, I
Led
just want to get
Zeppelin.
on the dance floor.
No, I hear freaking
Communication
immigrant song and I
breakdown.
just break on the dance floor. That's what happens.
Well,
Communication
no.
Breakdown
So
is
see-
a
so
good
see-
dancing song.
Immigrant
And
song.
also-
Oh, sorry, I was interrupting you. Sorry.
What was the other song I was thinking of? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun,
Dancing
dun,
Days.
dun, dun,
No.
dun, dun. Yeah, Dancing Days.
Yeah.
There you go. It's the title. That's a dance song.
The issue I'm
yeah,
seeing
kind
here is
of.
that
That's
it's
definitely a dance song.
That's
there's
kind
a
of like
line
nod your head
between
in the
songs
car
you can
song.
bob your head to and just enjoy. But that's not the same as a dance song. Like the quintessential dance song was "Music Sounds Better with You" by Thomas Bangalter from Daft Punk. That is the quintessential dance song. That was one of the highest rated dance songs of the 90s into the 2000s.
I probably heard it, but I don't know it by name. So.
I don't want to hear about none of these ratings, man.
Just
What?
listen. No, both of you listen to the
I
song
don't,
by
want, I don't
yourselves.
want to hear about none of these Oscars, none of these Grouches, none of these Grammys, none of these crackers.
Listen, don't get me wrong.
What?
Don't get me wrong. Bruh. What I'm telling you is just like, put it this way. You got like, for example, just 2 days ago, DJ Khaled's Father of Assad got #1. Does it deserve it? Probably not. It's kind of crap. In
I haven't
general,
heard
just
it.
the whole
the last pop song is Old Town Road. That's the last one.
by Lil Nas X. No, no. The issue here is
which
that
I like
the whole,
unironically enjoy, and
it's an interesting
I
song.
love to hate it.
It's
yeah.
interesting.
It's fun to hate, but it's also fun to listen to. So I don't know.
Like this is. All right, hold on a second here. I'm gonna put this onto the fucking Discord. If you listen at your own discretion, but this is the dance song. This is like, it's repetitive, but it is good. It is like, it gets the basis of this is the thing that Tomas made before he went back to Daft Punk and made Discovery. He made this shit, and this was
How
good.
old is it?
This is like, I think like 98, I guess, 1 year before Discovery came out. This is still
Okay.
feels fresh. This still feels like, this does not feel like the song is like 21 years old. It doesn't.
Hmm.
And that blows my damn mind.
I don't know. I could see it sounded like it's 21 years old.
All right, fair enough. I feel like there's a bias there considering I already told you that. But then again, that's not the point I'm making. It's like, good gracious.
It's a little timeless. It's a little spacey.
Exactly. That's
Okay,
like,
when the drums come in, it doesn't sound like it's that recent. I would say that.
all right. Fair
But
enough.
it's also not really that interesting. You know, it just sounds like dance music. It doesn't sound like.
That's
Dude,
the
what are you
point,
talking
though.
about?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Well,
used
I mean,
to-
if I want to dance to something, I want to dance to something profound. You
The
know,
thing
like
is-
I want to hear that the
is,
musician
Matt-
was actually putting
Matt-
some like thoughts in there. You know?
Matt, I used to think like you. You know what I mean? Like this is
And
why.
then-
No. This is why like I'm so like kind of like perplexed or like emphatic about my position on that. Like sort of like because it's just embracing like the subjectivity of it all, right? You don't have to like anything. The problem is where your opinion sort of like meets its end is what is like like you said, like what objectively good. Now when we say objectively, we of course are like relaying to some authority or consensus of like what we attribute to be like good qualities, right? But we really need to expand, like you said before, like the idea of like subjectivity. Everyone's has their own associations, their own definitions, and their own sort of relationships with different types of music. So you're not gonna get this sort of like, it's just weird to like when I saw that Facebook post of like shoot me a band and I'll tell you whether or not they're mediocre or really good, and it's like what
It's
what do you
perfectly
mean?
subjective.
Yeah.
If you're like a music like
Oh, I know.
theorist,
I see
it's a
people-
really weird question to ask. You could.
Well, it's not a weird
you could
question to ask.
You
It's
could
all
make the
about the
identical post
opinions.
just saying like, I'll tell you how much I like them, but I guess that's not as interesting post. It's not as engaging, right?
No, it's not as interesting. It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
you can make the interesting
But it's
post.
essentially the same question, right? Because what authority do you kind of like hold on this? Like you said that like
I hold the authority over the people who wish to ask me what my opinion is. It's an authority thing, I guess.
But
It's just
I'm
they want to
saying
know what my opinion
the
is.
post is framed in such a way that it expresses an authority beyond just whatever people are going to. Because if you had phrased it as, I'll just tell
Because
you,
there's God tier and then there's elite tier. Okay, well, I'm done with this song because it's a little bit too repetitive for me.
I feel like we
I
went
didn't
full
hear it yet.
circle.
yeah. But do you kind of
Yeah,
see the
it
point
is.
I'm getting
It is
at?
too
though?
repetitive. I can't see how some of these songs they're just dance songs, and I think that what people dance to should change. You know,
What? Change to what?
Oh, wait, wait.
Change
Oh,
to
wait,
I
cashmere?
mean, like ultimately, if people started dancing to Kashmir, that would be epic. If I went into a fucking bar and I saw that everybody was dancing to Kashmir, I would
Dude,
think
what
that's
would
like
it
the
look
greatest
like?
thing ever.
You can't move your body to that song.
Yeah,
That's
you
what I'm
can.
saying.
You
Show me. Prove
you
it
dance
to
to
me.
the tempo.
I'm telling
You do it to the metric.
Either you're wrong or prove it to me. You have to abandon the point or prove it
You-
to me because
you
I
dance in
cannot
one.
imagine this.
Is this
You dance-
Flixer didn't happen?
No,
Pretty
you
much,
dance
yeah.
it in one. You
Picture
dance it in counts of
GTFO.
one. You dance it in counts of one. Dude.
You dance and
One,
get to
one.
What are you talking about?
Left foot, right foot, Left foot up.
Is this a line dance? Is this a damn line? No. If you're telling, no, look me in the
You dance it. Okay.
no, Matt,
wait.
listen. I respect you. I really do. And I respect your opinion.
You don't respect my fucking dancing tactics.
No, I just think this is still the most painfully white thing I've heard all day, and I just need you to know that this has made my day. This has made my.
It's not even painfully white. It's just,
Alright.
it's just like nonsensical. It's like
It feels it's.
in order for
Go
me to
ahead,
like
Aiden.
even like visualize it, I can't visualize it. I would need to
You
see
dance
it.
in
And it
one
would be,
and
it
dance
would be
however
so
you.
easy for you to record that video, Matt. That's all I'm saying. It would be the easiest thing in the world to prove your point.
Be a sensation. Do it for us. Do it for the
giving
mind.
I'm giving you the ability to prove me wrong, and you're
Okay,
just
but
saying
see-
no.
Here's the thing. Well, see, here's the thing. I have to have it playing off. I can't do on my phone.
So
No,
I'm saying
you don't got to do this now. You don't got to do this now. This
no,
is like
no,
for
no,
next
no.
time.
Yeah.
This is your homework. This is the
Homework
assignment.
to record Led Zeppelin.
Yes, to record Led Zeppelin and dancing to it to make a point. It's
Okay.
like
Fine.
Parks-
We'll see
It's
what
just like-
happens.
Sorry, I was gonna
Now,
try to.
I'm gonna go back to my got here. This is my post. This is my description that I had with the post.
Mhm.
Comment a band / musician. Rate it. Keep in mind, I might not know their full discography / a lot of it, and that might make me biased in a way that I might not even want to be. That's a fair little.
it's
Well,
subjective.
shit.
No, but
I
it's,
have 121 comments on it too.
look. I'm not saying that.
Someone
yeah,
asked me my opinion of little.
Lil-
and so-
Lil Peep- he's mimetic. He's influential in memery, I guess,
Who?
because like Bass God.
Okay, I don't even fucking.
I don't know who that is.
Bass God was like this. Oh, so the thing, Bass God was a rapper who came out a few years ago, and his whole thing was that all of his songs had the same beat, and it was always like he'd do like, for example, like his song "Wonton Soup" was like, first I parked my car, woo, then I thought, yo, bitch, swag. It's like it's so mindless in a sense because it's literally just every song was a formula, every rap. I don't even call it a
Mhm.
song, but the whole idea was that this was influential in a sense because I think it was very much a rapper who did not take himself seriously, and he had a fun time doing it. And that's what I think more than anything. That's what really drew it out because I think a lot of people were like getting really mad at him because it's like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but I think
It sounds really boring. Yeah.
like I said, it was just humorous. You know, that's the way. Like
Okay.
almost so much
Oh,
that
sorry.
like influential rappers like Tyler the Creator and ASAP Rocky had like lines in their raps that are referencing Bass God. Like, what was it? I put my Vans on, but they look like sneakers. It's like he obviously had some kind of influence, and whether or not we raise questions of what's good and what's influential, and we usually kind of put the two together, but they don't necessarily have to be.
Okay, so I have a thing. Like, there's a bunch. I don't know if you like. Are you trained in music theory, Matt? Because I might be like. preaching to
Yeah.
the choir. Okay, so then
Yeah.
that there is some types of music, like say, like whatever, like really, really, I don't know, not obscure, but obtuse, like
Abstract?
jazz. Like abstract, like
Yeah.
jazz, like pieces, whatever, and that to really like understand like what you're actually hearing, you actually have to have like an ear for it. You have to train your ear in order to pick up like certain rhythms where they're like, again, it's like the notes they don't play or whatever, right? So without that kind of ear, like that's what I'm saying. It's like this can be a totally different piece of music that's actually out like above your league, and that's why you're not even able to like, grasp it or whatever, right? Because you don't have that sort of expertly trained ear. And the same could be said for dance music, pop music, emo music, all these different types of genres, right? That have sort of like, yes, they have sort of isolated themselves, but they have like, grown and sort of like, adapted to like their own style, right? But as they do that, they sort of separate from the mainstream, and then people who are outside of that subculture don't really, hear it. They don't even have the ability to like attempt to hear the expertise of it or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's not just like some people will do that and just they'll be sort of like I don't know, like sort of waxing and like try to like impersonate like high level jazz, but it's like you either do it or you don't, right? There's plenty of I mean you could say the line gets a little bit more blurry when it comes to like modern art, right? But there's plenty of modern artists that like people just sort of pan like, oh, this looks like like again, my kid could do this, right? But there's when you learn like the historical context of a piece, it can completely change like the relevance of the piece, right? I'm trying to think of like a good example.
Oh, if it comes to music with contemporary classical, I wouldn't say that. Some people might listen to it and says, "Oh, my kid can do this." And I saw this one fucking Facebook post, and I don't even know if this girl was serious or not, but she was saying that Claire de Lune. She was like, "Oh man, I could write Claire de Lune and just clank my hands on the pianos." And to her, Claire de Lune sounded like noise, and
Wait,
I'm not even going to bother engaging with that. Dear God.
yeah, so they're saying they could come up with something as good as Claire de Lune.
That's the basic gist, I guess.
They were saying that. Well, I guess to them it just really sounded like noise. I don't know. Maybe they really love dance music, something simple to the point where something not
Dude,
even
why
that
you gotta-
complicated to most ears.
You keep coming back to it, and I can sense the
Yeah,
hostilities.
something more simple.
Yeah,
It's like, dude,
well,
it's like
I
just
would say
spent,
yes,
like,
it is more
like
simple
20 minutes
because they're not
trying
putting
to...
a lot of thought into it.
Dude,
Oh,
that's
okay,
exactly
wait
what I
a
just told
minute.
you.
Making a puzzle. They're not making a fucking puzzle. It's not
Do you
interesting.
know
They're not
what
saying
like
anything
producers
interesting.
get paid like millions of dollars to do? Like spend like hundreds, thousands of hours, like meticulous. Like you know how like much depth there is to like audio and like all the different pitches and like you're
I
kid in
don't
music
fucking,
theory.
I
This
don't
is like
fucking buy it,
insane.
dude. I don't fucking buy it. I don't.
What are
see
you
what's so
talking?
special
What don't you
about-
buy?
I don't see what's so fucking special about that dance song that got sent to me to the point where it's like
No,
the
you don't
number
see
one
what's so
song.
special
It's
about any
repetitive.
dance song. You're not willing to
the-
like grasp it as a genre. You're saying
No,
it's
he did.
objectively
He
bad.
grasped one dance song, Kashmir. He grasped that.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, I shouldn't- I shouldn't-
Okay.
I
So
shouldn't yell.
look, okay,
Sorry.
maybe Kashmir isn't a dance song, but I'd rather dance to that. Like I'd be excited if I saw
You
people
can't. My
dancing in
point
a
is
room
that
to
you can't.
Kashmir.
It's
Because
Let
a
me
dance.
ask-
it would be so
Hold up.
countercultural.
Dude,
Can I ask a
Matt,
question?
Such a
you
Can I-
cannot, Matt,
counterculture.
you cannot bring up dancing
Yeah,
to Kashmir
dude, you
unless
can.
you
No, you can.
You have
You-
to.
you
No, you
dance
have
to-
to
you
abandon the
dance
point
to
if you're
what?
not willing to prove it. Because I'm giving you the opportunity to prove it, and you won't. So you have to abandon the point.
I said
You
I'm
have
gonna
to s-
prove it, but you have
Okay,
to wait
okay.
till the fucking conversation's over because I
Okay.
can't just do it now.
Hey, can I ask
it's
him a question?
possible.
Because I have a question.
If you want to ask me a question, you can ask me a question. There's no
I know.
rules
No,
here.
he's the host here, though. I'd like to.
No,
ask
no,
him
no,
some-
it's all good. It's all good.
I'm about to test the waters here. Matt, how do you feel about rap music in general?
No,
I don't
actually,
really like
let's
it
go
that
backwards. Go
much.
backwards. Go backwards.
No, I want to tell you though. I want
Okay.
to tell you though. I
I had
really
a-
I like the album Igor by Tyler the Creator. I listened to that recently
Oh,
and I enjoyed
dude.
it.
It was awesome.
A Boy Is a Gun is like one of the best songs of all time. It's so
Bless.
good. That's such
Well, I
a
wouldn't
good
say
song.
that any. I wouldn't say that any of the songs of the album were the best songs of all time, but the album was done well. You know,
It was good construction.
The transitions from each song, it took me places. And there was a lot of melody. There wasn't a lot of just like repetitive stuff. There was a lot of changes in the songs, and that's what I like. And I would listen to rap music if more of it was like that, but a lot of it really isn't. A lot of it is just the same repetitive bullshit.
I will
So
agree
here's
with you
the
there.
thing,
Yeah,
okay,
there are little like pockets of. Sorry, I'll let you go, Lawrence. I just wanted to
Sure,
agree
sure,
with
sure,
him
sure.
on that. That like, yeah, it doesn't mean that. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm sort of like giving you an out, right? Because there's so many like subcultures and subgenres of rap where it's like I can't fucking get into trap, but I know there's shit going on there. You know what I mean? I kind of rest easy knowing that like there's
Sure.
good trap artists and there's bad trap artists, even with it defined within that own subculture. So like
What I think- what
I
I
don't have to
think at
cast
the
any
end-
judgment on
yeah.
people who listen to it. You know, which it kind of
Yeah.
feels like
Well,
you're doing.
what at the end of the day, look, I cast judgment based on my aesthetics. I don't cast existential judgment.
I don't know what that
See,
means.
I don't know though. There's existential judgment, which means that somebody's existence is inferior to yours. It could mean that. Look, I'll cast judgments on my aesthetics all day. I don't really care. I just cast judgment based on my aesthetics. You know, it's whatever.
I don't know
Other
what
people-
that. I don't know what that means though.
If I'm judging someone's aesthetics, I'm judging their aesthetics, not judging
Okay,
other
can you
parts
define
of
aesthetics though?
Aesthetics. Well, let's keep it to music. I'll be judging the quality of music based upon my own conception of what that means.
Okay,
Sure.
the
Yeah.
quality. So you say the aesthetics of music. Okay, so do you mean like the
Just
sort of
we're
the
understanding
defining
what the
features
quality
of,
means.
of a musical track, like the beat,
Well,
the
what
melody, all that
does
stuff?
quality mean to you? What does quality mean to me? We're
I mean,
just
I don't
going
want
off
to
of.
get I don't want to get too abstract though. I'm really trying to nail down like
It's
when you s-
not.
when-
Well, I mean, I'm not allowing the nailing down to happen. I want to really kind of get into the exercise of just understanding what it means to say, "Oh, this is the quality of this."
and then through further conversation, then you go back to the same thing. It's kind of pointless sometimes to try and like over define certain words. Like it's
Well,
probably
it-
better practice to listen to a word and take it for what you understand it to be,
Well,
and
that's
then
how
allow
misunderstandings
that.
happen, though. When I don't ask for clarification.
But I mean,
because
should they? Well,
we all-
should it be, or should you maybe just look? Okay, I don't want to say that you're on your bad behavior, boy.
What?
So yeah, exactly. Like the dead end occurs, and it's like, okay, let's not go there. What I'm trying to
No,
say
it's okay.
is,
If you
look,
want to criticize me, I'm totally fine. with
yeah,
it.
you bad boy.
No, it's okay. If I do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you let me know. All right.
You're not doing anything like that, though. I just had a
That's what
linguistic
it's
coup.
that's kind of what it sounded like.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, I know that's what it sounded like. I'm like, oh shit, I'm
That's
sounding
what
like
I mean.
this.
That's a
now.
that's a miscommunication because
That's
you
a miscommunication, but that's not a verb. That's not a definitional miscommunication. Where like we're
Well,
disagreeing on
I would say a
the word
word's
quality means. We're
definition.
disagreeing based upon our expressions.
I would say a word's definition changes based on the way it's being used, though, right? Words don't have an inherent definition; they just are the definition that are communicated, that is being communicated. So, in that sense, I agree with you, but that also leaves a lot of room for miscommunication because we don't have the same like innate, like we really don't have the same definitions for any words, right? I said the word dog,
Okay.
and a certain kind of dog might pop into your mind, or maybe it's like it's a mix matched conception of the word dog, and that might be completely different from me, like you said at the beginning of the conversation. So,
Yeah, so that being taken into consideration, let's not try to define the word quality too much. So let's just say that if I'm going to judge someone's aesthetics, I'm judging their aesthetics based upon what I consider to be my quality. And there's other people out there who judge aesthetics based on quality. So it becomes the question of, well, should I judge aesthetics because other people judge aesthetics and that's what makes it okay?
I still don't know
And
what you mean by aesthetics, though.
It's just a subjective
do
perception
you?
of
But
what
you
is.
know what the word aesthetics means. You know, you could look up the word aesthetics and understand it.
Okay, I guess I
I'm
could just look
talking
it up.
about aesthetics. I'm talking about what I like in art. That's what I'm talking about.
So you mean like
Yeah.
when I say aesthetics,
do you mean like the
yeah,
material qualities that you find favorable, right? Okay, concerning
whatever
beauty
the
and
fuck it
appreciation.
is,
Okay,
whatever
so
whatever
beauty,
the
right.
fuck it is about art that I like, you could call it beauty, whatever. Beauty might be a part of it. Maybe
Okay,
dissonance is
so-
another part of it.
So I'm saying that there is, so that concept is not necessarily synonymous with quality. Quality and beauty, I think quality is trying to sort of see it on a more objective level where you can sort of test it among other things and sort of get this sort of like, I don't know, maybe sort of sociological kind of like understanding of, what we sort of collectively agree on as being better quality. But beauty is not as quite concerned with that objective. Like it's almost the antithesis. It's like the subjective beauty, right? So if you're talking about aesthetics being like subjective beauty, or like, that's different from more like what the consensus of like whatever that group might believe is quality. That's the distinction I'm trying to make, and that's why I ask, what your definitions are, just so we don't get mixed up.
Okay, so don't get mixed up. When I say quality, think about what it means. Use your own definition. When I say aesthetics, what it means, use your own definition. That's what I think is the best way to. That's how I want to go about these.
But I
conversations.
just clarified it though. You know what I mean? So we can both use the same definitions. I don't know.
But okay. So
No,
now I got to remember what those definitions are.
I just explained them.
Oh, well,
Aesthetic-
don't
it-
explain it
literally-
again.
literally, all
Don't
this is
explain it again.
this is so roundabout. The whole
Because
thing is.
no, it's roundabout because we got off on a tangent.
Okay,
We've
we
been-
can talk
this
about
is the
nutrition.
whole-
I had a question about nutrition like 30 minutes ago, and I totally dropped it. So
No, we don't have to talk about nutrition. Though.
I had a question about it, but whatever.
Oh, well, if you have a question about it, sure.
Okay.
But we'll get right back into that, and I'll remember to ask you about it. And I want to say first is that, I would say that I judge aesthetics in music, and I judge dance aesthetics heavily because I don't like that kind of music. I don't enjoy in music something that the only point of it is supposed to arouse some type of physical sensation that also makes you want to move your body. If that's what other people feel when they hear dance music. Because that's not really what I hear. If I hear dance music, I don't want to feel like getting up and dancing. I just hear the sound. So whatever comes out of the organized sound that is music, what I like out of it is usually a story. And if I can get down with the story that is being told to me, then I will open myself up to the physical sensations. But otherwise, it's like, well, the physical sensations, it's like there's no point in it. Just
So
boring.
Matt,
you know?
everything you just said, I can totally get on board with because you only use statements that involve that start with the word "I." Because you weren't talking about the way dance is like a lesser form of music. You were just talking
Well-
about the way that your brain understands dance music, which I can totally get on board with. That
But
makes
sure,
total
but
sense
now
to
let's
me.
take it. Let's take it another 360. Now, what is the difference between me, someone who likes music, and is there a correlation between other things?
Wait,
You
what?
know,
Say it again.
what is the psychology of someone who experiences music the way that I do, and by comparison, what is the psychology of someone who experiences music differently in terms of how it wants to make them dance? And the reasoning for that is that there's this sort of different mind-body association, I think, and perhaps those things, those mind-body associations that differ between me and those other people, might be some of the things that have to do with whatever is present at birth. You know, those things from 5. But again, like I said, you know, if I conceptualize it, I could probably change it. So if I can conceptualize it, it's probably not something that I'm unable to figure out.
Well, what if you can so yeah, Matt, do you want me to be honest?
Oh boy.
I have a bias over not liking dance music as much. You know, if the music is dancey and the music changes a lot, I might get into it. You know, there are
But Matt,
other fucking dancing songs out there that I probably there's a lot of songs I could dance to. If I'm at a concert and I like the songs being played, I'll dance to them. I'll dance to Neil Young songs if I see Neil Young. You know.
yeah, but Matt, so all right, never mind. I asked you if you want me to be honest, but I think
Well, be
there's-
honest. What's your statement?
okay. So I think,
Speak the truth, child.
and this is not me
Speak the
like
truth.
it's I feel weird asking permission because I'm sort of talking about you, but I'm also talking about myself, and I think I'm also talking about Lawrence. Guys, we're fucking autistic. Like,
Yeah.
I am
guys,
not
let's-
autistic. I do not need to hear.
Matt,
Get out of here.
Matt,
No,
Matt,
dude.
Matt,
All right,
Matt,
I'm not fucking autistic.
Matt.
What the hell conversation did I
Matt.
get myself into? Dude? You guys are
Matt.
trying to tell me that I have some type of
Matt.
disability or something.
You're
Matt,
not
for the love-
disabled, man. It's just
for the love
we're
of
all on
God.
the spectrum.
No, I'm not on the damn spectrum. The spectrum doesn't exist.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Wait, autism doesn't exist?
I don't even think that it does. To be honest.
Wait, what?
Oh my.
You want to tell me like I've got some
What?
type of
Matt, you were talking
autism
so
or
much
whatever.
sense like very early in the conversation. Now you're telling me autism doesn't exist?
You're
What?
killing me.
I mean, to a certain extent, it probably doesn't. And now you're gonna be like,
oh
all
my
right. So
goodness.
first off, I'm gonna ask you the first question. Now, my question is, you're planning on putting this on YouTube, but you want to go be like, hey, look at me, I'm autistic. You want to put that on the YouTube?
No, wait, me?
Hey, look, everybody in here. That's the fucking thing that you're doing, and
No, but
I'm not autistic.
You're hearing it
and
as a negative.
I'm
I
not-
never put it as a negative.
no, it doesn't have to be anything at all. Like,
Well, you're
there's-
hearing it as
this
a
is
negative. 'Cause
society.
you just took it.
we
you-
live in this. We
you-
live in
no,
a
Matt,
society.
you
You
said-
guys don't
Matt,
want to.
Matt.
I don't really think that you guys
Matt.
want to go on YouTube and say that, oh yeah, look at me, I'm autistic or anything like that. That's just stupid.
Why?
Especially if
Why?
if you maybe you've been diagnosed and maybe
I
the other
haven't.
guy in
I
here has
just
been
know.
diagnosed. Well, you don't know, and
No,
if
I've
you're
awoke.
functioning at the level
I've
that
like
you
come
are,
into my
you
autism.
probably
Like you know
don't.
how like older women like in their
No.
40s, like post menopause or like before menopause or whatever, they come into their own. Like I'm coming into my. I'm at the peak autism of my life right now.
There's
might-
nothing.
it might
there's
even go
nothing
higher, but I'm
peak
just-
autism. There's something to
Dude,
be.
dude,
Why
I am.
does this bother you so much,
dude,
man?
And I'm not
It's
even. I'm
not
not even
something
that
that- it's
autistic.
not
I just
something
know
to
that I
come
am.
in-
Something. All right. Anyway,
It's
sorry.
not. It's not anything to come at all. You know.
Matt,
if
I'm
you
sorry.
wanna
I
if
keep
you wanna-
interrupting
you wanna
you.
pick a
I'm
pattern-
autistic. It's not my fault.
Ha ha ha. Look, if you want to look at patterns in between people's behavior and stuff like that, so whatever, let's say that there's a pattern between the three of us, and then one of us says, well, that must mean that the three of us are autistic.
No, that's not what I'm
necessarily
saying.
What that means.
I mean, that's part of what I'm saying, but that's not the
That's
only
that's
thing that
part
I'm
of
saying.
what's already been said here.
What?
You're trying to like describe us with this stuff. I mean, I definitely
Yeah.
don't want to be described as that. I don't.
Oh, I'm
consider
sorry, Matt.
myself
That's why I asked
that.
if you wanted me to be honest. Like I wasn't trying to
if
hurt
you
your
wanted to
feelings
be
at all. I
honest
swear.
about something about dancing, so the idea is that I must be autistic because I don't like dance music.
I don't think you're jumping. You're doing leaps and jumps here right now. Wait, no. I
Kinda.
actually want to hear what does
All
Aiden
right.
have to say about this.
All right, guys, look, I don't know. Okay, so apparently Aiden has not been diagnosed with autism. Apparently, you, other person in the conversation, what's your name again?
Lawrence.
Lawrence. Okay, have you been diagnosed with said autism?
Not clinically, no.
Not clinically. Okay, so anyway, even if you guys were clinically diagnosed with autism, that does not mean that you have anything different other than people. You're living in a time where people see certain patterns of behavior and they think that it means something particular. And yeah, okay. Number one, there's a stigma. Number two, the stigma is stupid. But number three, autism is like these things that people are describing. These things like the three of us who we're pretty much capable of having conversations. We're obviously not nonverbal. There's
Okay,
like
Matt,
nonverbal
Matt,
autistics.
I'm gonna cut you off
and
right
stuff like
there.
that.
Matt.
If we were autistic, then
Matt,
if we were non-verbally autistic, we wouldn't be able to have this conversation.
Matt.
But I don't think that anybody in here is autistic. I think
Can
that
you
we
hear
all
me,
have
Matt?
different. I can hear what you're saying, but I
Okay,
just got
hold on.
this one last thing to say.
No.
What?
You're going off. You're gish galloping right now. Okay, that's a term I learned from Lefty's YouTube. You're going off on a whole thing, saying a bunch of wrong things, and I have to like.
I'm not saying anything
No,
wrong.
Matt.
None of us have
Matt, you're
autism.
Matt,
This is
you're
fucking
conflating.
chat.
You're conflating like the low.
This is not
Matt,
conflation.
you have to.
Nobody
listen,
in here has
Matt.
autism.
Matt, take a deep breath and just let Aiden say what he has to
I don't
say.
need to take no deep breaths. I ain't out of breath. I'm
Oh
sitting
my
in my
God.
bed. It's the laziest
I'm
place to be.
sorry if I offended you. I was not my intention at all whatsoever.
Nobody
okay?
cares about offending. Nobody cares about
You
offending.
obviously do because you're like not letting me talk, and I'm trying to like talk to you as a human being, right? Okay, so
Yeah, but
all
this
I'm-
is a stupid
Matt,
conversation.
someone who is offended acts like you're acting like. Okay, it's okay if you're offended. That's fine. I am sorry. I did not mean to cause any offense.
It doesn't,
Okay.
Aiden. It doesn't. Because we could have worked this if you done the linguistics, but we don't really need to go through the linguistics anymore.
What do you, I'm just apologizing if that's all I'm doing.
You don't
Okay.
have to apologize.
Well,
You don't have to
you're
apologize,
calling
but I'm
this
trying to tell you
conversation
why.
stupid, and you keep interrupting me. So that gives me the sense that okay, Matt, all these behaviors that like are happening right now, these are sort of like cornerstone. Like, all right, before I go,
These
before I go any
autistic
further,
people act.
what do you think?
So-
what do you think autism is? What do you think autism is? Even if it's
I'm
fake,
not
what do
even
you think it is?
I'm not going to get to it. Look. I don't want to be painted as having autism or anything stupid like that. What I'm trying to say is I don't think that we need to be looking at the three of ourselves as having autistic qualities. Okay, so maybe they're qualities, but you get rid of them because they're not advantageous. You don't want to
You
have
get rid
all
of them?
What qualities
get
are
rid
they
of them.
though? I just asked
whatever
you to
you were
define
about
it.
to say that
No,
I had.
I don't know what your definition is. That's why I'm asking.
I
What
know
do you
it's-
think
okay,
autism is?
Aiden, I knew what you were about to say. You were about to say the way that I was acting was autistic. Okay, that's fine. That means that I need to stop acting like that.
No,
You
it
know?
doesn't.
Okay, the phrase "don't be autistic" is a phrase to have. If
No,
you
it's
have
not.
autistic
It's really
qualities, you get rid of them. That's what you do. You get
Mm.
rid of your autistic qualities. You don't act like that. That is not socially advantageous.
Acting like what though?
Acting like an autistic person. You don't do
Who
it.
acts like? Give
You
me some
try to-
qualitative statements.
Qualitative statements.
What does an autistic person act
Okay,
like? Give me
okay,
some
fine.
actions.
Well, maybe an autistic person, when they're offended, they deal with it a certain way. But look, I would not necessarily say that I was that offended. I just didn't want the public image of me to be autistic.
Matt,
But
that means
fine.
you're
If some people-
that means you're
look,
offended. Look,
if some
you think
people think I'm
autism-
autistic,
Matt,
that's
if-
fine.
Matt,
No,
Matt,
I'm gonna make this statement. Okay, if
Okay.
people want to think that I'm autistic or whatever, fine. But I'm not. I'm saying that it's not a good thing to be. Don't act autistic. That's my statement. That's
okay,
my.
but how can I not
that's
act
my
autistic if
thesis.
I don't even know what it means though? I'm asking you to tell me what it
Well,
means.
then that's what you got to
How-
figure out.
No,
Let's say
because you
I'm your
think it's a
wizard, and I
negative
said-
thing, and I don't
let's
know why
say
you
I'm
won't
your wizard,
like,
and
tell
I
me,
said don't act
Matt,
autistic.
you
Okay,
can't,
that's what
you
I
have
end
to
up
let me
saying.
talk. I can't keep you in the game if you're not going to let me talk.
Well, you
Okay.
but you could always say, "Oh, I'm not letting you talk." That
What?
could be your weave around.
What?
Yeah. See, you
I
caught that
literally
one.
didn't hear you. What?
No, I said that you could just say that I'm not allowing you to talk, and that could be your weave around.
I mean, I guess I could mute you. I don't know, but I don't feel like I have to though, because I think we can talk like human beings. It feels a little bit rude for me to do that. But if I literally can't talk, it's like, well, what the fuck else am I supposed to do? You know? So
Why do you want to like this on live?
what?
Why do you want to go into a conversation like this on a live stream?
I
You
find
wanna-
these
you
kinds of
wanna-
conversations very interesting. Well, you can ask me a question and let me answer it.
You're calling yourself autistic. You're calling everybody else in here autistic, and then
I called the three of us autistic, but yeah.
you called the three of us autistic. The other guy called the three of us autistic. I'm saying, why
Okay,
are
okay.
you saying this on a fucking podcast or whatever you're
Because
calling
I don't
it?
think it's a bad thing. That's what you don't
But
understand. You
but
think it's a
I'm
bad
not
thing. I
autistic,
don't.
and
That's
I don't
why
really
you get
even think
Matt.
I don't fucking
Let me
think
talk.
that.
Stop being
I don't
autistic. If you
fucking
think it's
think-
bad to be autistic, stop talking right now because what you're doing is
No.
autistic. Take your own advice.
I don't need
Stop
to hear
talking.
that. So you're just using it as a weave around.
No, I'm
All
not.
you're doing
I'm
is
just
using
trying to
it.
talk on my stream, dog. That's all I'm trying to do. You keep interrupting
I
me.
don't buy it. I don't buy it.
What do you
I don't
think I'm
want this
trying to do, Matt?
publicized. I don't want this publicized. This is atrocious.
Matt, I'm sorry. We can talk about something else.
I don't
okay?
need your apology. I need action, and I want your action to be that you do not broadcast this, that you
Matt.
take it down, and we
Matt,
can have it as a
Matt.
Discord chat.
Matt, I'm not going to take the video down, but we can talk about something else, or you can leave the call. Okay? I didn't mean to
I'm
upset
leaving
you.
the call.
I'm sorry, Matt.
I
hope-
don't need to hear any of your shit.
Look,
look,
Matt. I
You
wasn't trying
you
to.
don't fucking act autistic. That's not a thing that you do. And
Okay,
you
Matt,
don't.
You're not autistic.
bring up
Me
the
and Lawrence are
conversation,
autistic. You're not autistic.
and-
Okay.
None of you are, but you're idiots.
Okay. Wow. I wasn't expecting it to go that way. Yo, Larry.
Oh my goodness, what happened?
Oh, you're still here?
Yeah, I had to go get some water. I was laughing so hard. Oh, did he just storm out?
Oh. Oh no.
What? Did I miss the best part of this conversation?
You missed the worst part of it. I feel so bad.
I don't. He's autistic. Like he. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
No,
He's,
but the ironic thing is that he fucking hates autism.
What? But it's almost like he's like a denier. Like he's like some kind of like flat earther for autistic people.
It's like that Dave Chappelle show sketch, you know, where he's like the Black Ku Klux
Even the-
Klan member.
The Black Klansman, yeah. I'm like, why are you so upset about this? Why is it a big deal
That's
if you're
the thing, though. I
autistic?
kept apologizing because I'm like, obviously, you think it's bad to be autistic. I'm sorry that I said that. Here, let me try to qualify my statement.
And
So
he just won't let you get in, yeah.
he just wouldn't let me talk. Like I couldn't even explain myself.
Yeah, he was just going on and on and on. You know what's the worst part? At first, when he started talking, like the first tangent he went on, when he just kept going on and on and on and on, I was like, wow. In my head, I'm like, wow, this guy's really autistic.
But we
And I
let him.
felt bad.
We let him talk though, because like the first part that he was saying was like I was
Very,
genuine-
very interesting. It
honestly
was very interesting.
I was surprised. I had heard some of the like dipshit things that he had like told me he believes before, but I'm like, oh man, it actually sounds like he knows more about this than me. But then the second you bring up autism, it's like, no, it doesn't exist. And I'm like, what? Oh, but you think the
Well,
you
it's
think
like
that
he seemed-
gender is binary? Okay, bud. Okay. You
It's
think
it's
autism
like
doesn't exist, but gender is binary? Gotcha, bud.
it's how do I explain it? It's like I'm getting a little bit with him, but I didn't want to say anything, and I'm like, you know what, this guy, I don't know what's his deal. Very passionate about what he's saying.
He was saying a bunch of stuff that I disagreed with.
Yeah, same here.
But I didn't get triggered. You know what I mean?
You don't just you just don't just blurt out and say shut up to a guy like that. You kind of like you want to hear what he has to say, you know?
But
You
but you heard in different points of the conversation, he would get like frustrated when I tried to like get on the same page with him. You know, he's like, "Oh, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's like we just have different
It
definitions."
does.
And I'm like, "No, that's antithetical to like having a conversation. If you're not talking about the same thing, if I, say like, "Oh, I love peaches," right? And in your language, peaches means like rape. It's like we're not talking about the same thing. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's like
A better
wanna
example would
avoid
be like,
misunderstanding.
sorry, the better example would be like using the word queer, right? Some people use it in an empowering way, some people use it in a
Yes.
derogatory way. It really matters on the context, right?
Sure.
So that's what I was trying to nail down. It's like, what do you think quality is? What do you think aesthetics are? What do you think autism is? Because I want to know what he means, so I won't use the wrong definition when I'm talking to him, right? So we can understand each other. That's all I was trying to do.
Yeah, no, totally. It's just kind of like I feel bad because like obviously there was I think at some point I realized there was gonna be no ifs, ands, or buts getting to this guy.
But
That's just
that's
the
the whole
thing
point of
about it.
talking. It's like, we can sort of come to a greater understanding. And I didn't want to be shitting on him all the time, but it's like, if I disagree with you, I'm going to try to like, put
Meet
it,
you halfway at least.
yeah, put it respectfully or whatever. That's why I asked him
Yeah.
first. Can I be honest? Can I say something that's potentially offensive that maybe you don't want to hear, right? That's the
Yeah.
point of me saying that. But then, boy.
I know the kicker was I think. Do you know now why I asked you permission if I could ask him the question about rap music first?
Yeah, that too.
No, like I didn't know how he was gonna take it. I didn't know because there was like a bit of me, a sliver in my mind, thinking he's gonna go off on the anti-rap rants, but I didn't know. I'm not gonna assume.
But you could even talk about all the parts of rap that you don't like.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
totally fine. It's just when you make that step from I don't like thing to thing bad, or like thing worse than other thing. You know what I mean? It's sort
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
a kind of a hazy line, right? Because I can be super opinionated about like a movie that I don't like, but I can
Mhm.
still be like, oh, if you like that movie, like whatever, that's fine. You're not like an idiot or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you can like things that are like lesser in quality, but like them for personal reasons. It doesn't mean that you're like that you are of lesser quality.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right?
like it's I don't know. There's some people there's no winning.
That was really sad though, because I feel like we were doing fine for a while. I'm sad that it just became so hostile all of a sudden.
It you can't blame yourself for those
It's
kind of things,
almost
man.
like he's repressing something.
It sounded like he obviously was very upset about something as far as the term autism and what it means to be autistic, and
It's like
it's kind of funny because
if you call me gay, it's like I'm like, oh well, I'm not really, but like someone who's really gay who doesn't want to confront it is like, oh,
Hello again.
hi there.
oh,
Hi.
hey, were you watching the
So
YouTube stream?
You guys done being idiots?
Oof.
I guess so. Or
All right, cool.
not really. Do you want to?
It's like-
Do you want to say? Or wait, Matt.
What?
Were you
Was it-
were you
Are we,
watching?
good, are we gonna have a synchronized oof section? I was not. I was going to the bathroom.
Okay, so you left the call, right?
I did leave the call and then I came back.
Well, the way you left the call made it seem, and we can like literally go back in the stream, that you were upset. So I was just talking to Lawrence about, because I thought you left the call for good based on the way that you reacted. So are you good?
Well, I guess not a lot of people are watching this anyway.
That's
Look,
okay.
you know what
It
they
doesn't
say.
matter.
You're not supposed to really care about what other people think about you. You're supposed to have a higher investment in yourself than you
but
do of other
Matt,
people's
Matt,
opinions.
Matt,
So,
Matt, are you
What
going
is
to let
it?
me talk this time?
yeah, you can talk.
Okay. Please don't interrupt me, okay? Because that's the only way this can work. If I don't want to just
Go ahead and talk.
Okay. So I'm not saying I have anything to say at this moment. I'm just saying once once you've talked for like 2 or 3, 4 or 5 sentences, now it's my turn, okay?
Fine.
Okay.
We're passing the shell.
I won't, yeah, the conch. Like we're passing the cunt.
Conch
around.
shell, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get rid of the conch, but go ahead for now.
Okay. But well, yeah. Do you want to say anything? I'm not asking you to apologize. I'm just asking if you want to say anything.
Yeah, I know. It was a miscommunication, for starters. Starting with the whole thing, like, look, I'm really trying, I'm reading a lot of shit, try not to be, awkward or whatever. And this whole idea that, like, what's a good way to phrase this? The idea that there's this thing called autism and that some people have it and people don't. And then, like, if you have it, it's like a really, oh, yeah, you're stuck there. And it's like, well, I just don't really believe in that. So I'm going to figure out what specific things are going on, whatever is in my life, and I'm just going to get rid of them. I'm gonna re-look at myself, and I'm gonna re-perceive things and my emotions, my perceptions, and my sensations, my experiences,
Okay.
and I'm just not. When I got called autistic in this chat, it was just a little bit irritating. But at the end of the day, all I had to really do was just be like, oh boy, here's these guys coming out with the A word, and it's like,
Uh-huh.
all right, well, whatever.
Okay.
I don't have to listen to it right now, and then I can switch the conversation later or something.
Okay.
That's the type of sequence like that.
I gotcha. All right.
Okay.
Sorry, Larry. Did you wanna
What
do you
jump
get?
in?
Well, it's just there's a few questions. No, I have like a few questions.
All right.
Well,
Hey,
first of all,
Matt. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off just now, but I just remembered. At any point, you can push the big red button and say, "I don't want to talk about this anymore." Okay?
that's always an option as
Yeah.
well.
We'll just change subjects or
Oh.
just talk about something else. All right? I just want
Yeah,
to
I
get that
wouldn't.
out.
I wouldn't press that button though.
Well, you kind of did before, but in a really rude way. So I'm just saying,
It's like-
now
no,
you
like-
can just say,
Oh.
"Let's not talk about this. We'll talk about something else." All right? At any point, you can just
Now
cut me
I'll
off.
come
and
up
just
with
say,
a better option.
All right,
We're
whatever,
not-
whatever. I
You
just
don't
wanted,
understand that you're
I
not
wanted
going
to
to
put
be
that out
judged.
there. Yeah, I wanted to put
But I will tell you this: I have 20% battery on my phone, so at 1%, I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
But until that happens, I'm around.
All right, fair
More
enough.
power. No, I gotcha. No, it's just so with autism for just a thing. Yes, like we've clarified as you've asked that I don't think me or Aiden have been properly diagnosed. But what I need to clarify: have you ever met someone with something diagnosed with, let's say, like Asperger syndrome?
Well, they've been diagnosed with it, but I mean, why do they behave that way? Question.
No, but just it's a simple yes or no. Have you like met someone with that thing, and have you noticed certain characteristics that they have? And
It doesn't
Essentially,
mean that they can't get rid of those characteristics.
No, but Matt,
you know?
that's not what he's asking you. He's asking you if you've ever met someone. Yeah.
Obviously, the answer is yes.
Just
Okay.
want to make sure.
The thing is that it's not like you can't get rid of that stuff.
Hold up. Just hold up. What I'm saying is we're just trying to go step by step here, because like,
All right, what's the
you're-
next step?
all right. So when in the discussion about autism, a lot of people refer to as there's high functioning and low functioning and like mid-level of functioning autism, like where like you got
A
the
spectrum,
quote
if you
unquote
will.
Sherlock Holmes, the spectrum, a spectrum, if you will. That you got like obviously the fictitious Sherlock Holmes, which is supposed to be like high functioning autism. They obviously the characteristics that are usually seen there are low ability to catch social cues, insensitivity, lack of tact, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they are able to function in society. They are intelligent.
I know what the spectrum is. I know all about that stuff.
So, and then you got
what is
like
your take on the moderate part of the spectrum?
Wait,
though?
let Larry finish his
we're
point.
getting there. We're getting there. Then you
because
have the low
I know
end.
that
Matt,
I know the
let Larry
spectrum.
finish
I
his
know what
point,
it is.
please.
What's happening is you have the low end of the spectrum, and you got people that have like self-aggression. You have lack of ability to communicate per se. They have a certain kinds of I don't want to say abnormalities, but they have just general inability to function, communicate, to take out outside stimulus, hypersensitivity to sound, lights, etc. I knew a guy in high school who literally he had, I don't know, I never found out why he did this, but he had like very strong Asperger's, and I guess he would mid-level functionality because he was intelligent. He was able to study, he was able to read, and etc. Hold conversation. He was fixated on certain subjects, and he had triggers. If someone said the word chicken nugget, which I have no idea why that word specifically, he would go berserk. He would throw things. He would like freak out. He'd run away. And what I'm saying is that some of these things, I would describe them as deeply ingrained habits, deeply ingrained, I guess, I don't even know what to call it, programming, I guess, in the brain.
Okay.
I don't know how what you're saying about resolving these issues and working through them applies to, let's say, low functioning, maybe
okay.
high functioning, but I don't know.
Well,
Low functioning.
low functioning, I think, is the thing that we can talk about that said that it's probably hard to get rid of. Like for the moderate functioner who freaks out over chicken nuggets, you might be able to get him to stop doing that. You know, you might give him the right psychedelic trips, or you might give him the right
Hell yeah,
sentences and the right experiences, and he'll stop freaking out over chicken nuggets. He
Sure.
might even love chicken nuggets now.
I
You
actually
know?
never.
And
I don't think-
actually, that's realistic because let's see, hate is a strong emotion for chicken nuggets, but what if he ends up having this psilocybin trip and now he loves chicken nuggets?
Okay.
He's just associating a strong emotion, or bust.
Yeah.
God.
But so All right, so yeah, I get your point, but we're going back. I guess I'm going to do a callback here. Remember we were talking about the ship of Theseus? What is the
Sure.
line? What is the line here between the mid functioning who can overcome chicken nuggets and the low functioning who is barely able to speak, barely able to function, barely able to go into places without being overwhelmed by loud noises, bright lights, and certain kinds of stimuli? What is the line between those two, and how do we cross that?
I think that behaviorally there might be a line, but I think that on an individual level, it all differs and it just expresses itself like the similar way in behavior.
Okay,
Like,
Matt, can I jump
What?
in?
sure.
So the part that I agree with you with is that so the part where we disagree is not that. So do you? Again, I'm going to ask you: do you believe that autism exists? Just yes or no. Is it a thing?
I
Just yes
guess.
or no. Just yes or no.
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. That's fine. Thank you for being honest. So anyway, the difference being that we both, the similarity being that we both think it's sort of like ill defined, and it is. And the best that I can do is sort of put it in categorize it again with that list of qualities or behaviors where it's like, not necessarily antisocial, but you could be non-social, you could be hyperactive, you can actually be like very low energy, you could be analytical, you can be, so it is a very broad list. I could just keep listing off qualities, right? But it's this general like trend or like striation, I would say. And it's also like a way of breaking down ideas. It's sort of like a mental, like a thought process, almost like the way you understand sense, like you said, sensations, intellectual concepts. Like autistic people, like a lot of them have a hard time grasping like sarcasm or like metaphor because their brain just kind of like processes language.
Well, it's probably not because of their brain. It's probably because they haven't had certain amounts of experience with it. And then
Well,
if
how
they
does
pick
that
up,
experience then? Because the thing is that our brains are malleable, like they grow in a certain way. So those two aren't really disconnected because the way that our environment and our experiences, they shape the way that our brain acts, right? And there are sort of more ingrained qualities, like that you could argue that on some levels that autism is genetic. But I think there's also an argument that like can also be kind of like learned in a sense,
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If
not
yeah, well,
autism, but
maybe
like
definitely. I
like
would say it
the way
can
that these
probably be learned, but
the way that these
um,
communities sort of like gravitate towards each other. It's like you start seeing similar behaviors. So maybe it's not enough to say learn, but like I don't know.
what I would say is that when it comes to what was I going to say? We were talking about like, if they can conceptualize it, they can probably understand it. Like,
Well, you said understand it, but they can't change. They can change it, and I'm arguing that maybe it's better to look
no,
at what's
okay,
worth changing.
let's say that somebody doesn't understand sarcasm. So they study it, they look for examples in the real world, they eventually get it. That's the 3-step process, and then there you go. They
But
know
it's not.
sarcasm
It's
now,
just not.
and they can be really
It's
good at
not.
it.
It's not enough to just know what it is. It's a different thing to sort of like understand its utility. It's not that autistic people can't comprehend the idea of sarcasm. It's that they just don't really get it in the moment. Like they don't really get the
What do
functionality.
they not
Maybe
get?
Lawrence, maybe you can correct me on this. I actually don't really know, but I've heard and sort of seen this kind of like aversion to like metaphor or like kind of fancy talk, and they just kind of want to know the brass tacks of things.
It's like I don't know exactly the science behind that, but there is a trend where it's like, so can we all agree that there is certain part of the brain, certain aspects of the mind, which are associated with abstract language, with wordplay, let's say, right?
I think that it's basically like that's weird. Okay, so I'm thinking about the left and the right side of the brain, which is more conceptual than actual, I think. But let's say that the right side of the brain is, the present and the sort of like feelings and things like that, and then the left side of the brain is all the associations.
Matt, I think
When it
this
comes
is
to
this is
puns,
Matt. I think this is some bunk. I wouldn't go with this analogy because even if it's a
What?
hypothesis, because I think that a lot of that information has been deep. I can say is that maybe like different parts of your brain a function for different things, obviously, but to really isolate it to left and right. But I don't know. I just didn't want to
I'm
like.
isolating it to left and right for the sake of the ease of the conversation. I'm not saying that the
Okay,
left and the
all
right
right,
brain
fair
actually
enough.
function
I
like
just
that.
make sure we're not being literal here.
Left and right side theory has been not so much discredited, but like it's less. We kind of associate aspects of the brain and behavior closer to specific parts of the brain bilaterally, both sides. So like front, back, temporal, parietal. It's like they're it's
And
a
not
little
only
bit.
that, yeah, but not only that, like a lot of people saying that, autism or Asperger's or whatever exists, is that they're saying that it's a miscommunication between the left and right hemispheres, that there's holes of the corpus callosum or something like that, and that's what causes
Well, I thought we were
the
being metaphorical because I just
affliction.
told you that it's kind
Yeah,
of
I know
hard to-
that there's an inconsistency with what I've said, but I'm just talking about it holistically. Not
okay.
just saying, take these things into consideration
I
as a
mean,
whole.
if you're talking about the way that you feel, which is totally fine. I do it all the time, right? Just make that distinction between how you feel and what you are putting up
Well,
as
this
like
isn't about my
biology.
feelings either.
Well, you just said you
I'm,
want to speak holistically, so it's like obviously we're not
but I'm
sticking
not
to an
talking about
objective
my
reality.
feelings when I'm talking about holistically. I didn't even say holistically. I just said, as a whole,
Okay.
and things like that.
Okay.
So I'm being flexible with the way that I'm talking about this.
Let's.
So
All we
what?
have to agree is that do we all agree that there is an aspect of the brain, wherever it may be, regardless of whether it's left, right hemisphere, or some other specific aspect, there is an aspect of the brain that has to be responsible in some shape or form about complex language, right?
About complex language? All right.
Yeah.
So I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all right. So, Aiden, do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's pretty that's pretty
Or do you believe that
recognizable,
there?
right?
Yeah, just wanted to make sure they're on the same page.
Mhm.
Once we agree that, we could also make a reasonable deduction that there is a possibility in some kinds of conditions that someone may have either damaged that part of their brain, or they were born with a malformation of that part of the brain, or a lack of malleability in that part of the brain, which could possibly lead to the idea of them not being able to comprehend complex language or to comprehend advanced linguistics.
Okay.
Could we also agree that that might be a possibility?
Well, autistic people tend to make a lot of puns, so that part didn't really get chipped
Some.
out.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
Also,
that's what I was trying to say before. It's like nothing I'm really ascribing to autism is unilateral, right? I'm not
universal.
saying or universal. Yeah, unilateral too. Right? Right? Could I use that? Let me look it up now. 'Cause
Yeah, I'm not sure because unilateral just means from one side.
yeah. Okay. Hold on. Unilateral. Or affecting only one person group, or okay. So I guess I'm talking about the group.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Maybe. Anyway, so what the fuck was I talking about though? Oh yeah, so I can't ascribe any of these qualities to autistic people because again, it's such a broad. That's the idea of the idea of the spectrum is that there's all these qualities sort of along. I don't even know if it's like a horizontal lateral bilateral spectrum. It might be like a weird graph, right, where you get all these different directions. Like it's the same way I think about gender. It's not necessarily if you're masculine or feminine, right? There's all these sort of different subset, and because the way we define these qualities is really really abstract, right? Because it's who's to say what is masculine.
I really don't want to talk about gender.
Let's get away from the gender.
I'm just using it sort of as a placeholder, right? Because it's really hard to sort of nail down it's not as
There's two genders.
It's okay.
Aiden, all right, hold on.
You just said hold on.
Let's-
You just said you wanted to drop it, so I'm not going further. So I don't know why you brought it up again. But anyway,
I joked about it.
well, it sounded like that's also you bringing it up again because you didn't joke
No,
about it
I
because
mean
that's something
that is my
Matt,
opinion, but
yeah. So it's not a joke. Anyway, so or it's a joke. But
I jokingly brought it up.
Whatever.
The fact that I brought it up was a joke.
Gotcha.
I was joking that I wanted to talk about it further. That was the joke.
Okay, but you joked about not wanting to talk about it further by talking about it further. That's my point. Anyway.
All right. How about this?
No. Nope.
How about this? Here's another example we can use that is better. Diabetes. There's two variations.
Diabetes.
Okay, Matt. Oh, sorry,
Yes,
not Matt.
I'm-
Lawrence. I'm actually going to interrupt you this time. I'm not because I'm trying to get away from the argument of like autism is like just by nature negative, which I would incorporate with like I would like ascribe to like a disease like diabetes. Like you're never gonna have someone who's like proud to be diabetic, right? Or if they do, they're a fucking idiot, right? Because they're gonna fucking die.
Mm,
And this goes back to the nutrition.
Well, they might not die if they take care of themselves.
Well,
you'd be surprised.
no, but I mean, if they're proud of being diabetic, that means that they would like. Oh, you can be actually. I should
Proud
fix
to-
that. You can be proud to be a diabetic person, but you can't be proud of like the diabetes, right? You didn't like earn
Mhm.
that or you know what I mean? It's be a weird like
You-
pseudo
you can be-
like masochistic like kind of worldview. But my point being is that I think autism is a better list as like a type of like again list of traits rather than a negative thing afflicting you that you can somehow alleviate yourself from. You can.
Well, I mean,
you
some
can
of the
behave-
traits
Matt,
are negatively afflicted. You know,
they can express themselves in a negative environment, right? But you could just easily shift the environment rather than shifting the person. This is the same argument against like conversion therapy, right? Sometimes it's better to just shift the environment because there's actually nothing wrong with that person being the way they are.
Okay.
I would definitely say that most autistic traits, it's not good to have them.
Okay, look, we could argue about that, but we don't need to.
Misinterpreting social
I'm willing
cues
to
is not
lead
an
some ground.
advantageous.
You know.
Even if you start out life and you're in your 20s and you can't understand the social cues, you gotta fucking figure that out.
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Or else
Hold
you
on.
can't.
And
If
there's
you
ways to
can't
do that
figure out
without- while
social skills
remaining
and your
autistic.
life is shit, you can't bitch. You know.
Yeah, but there's ways to see. I'm talking about like yes, changing your behavior does not mean changing the fact that you are still autistic, right? That's the
But
difference.
I don't really think that that's what that really means. I think that when you get down to the nonverbal level to the point where they can't change it, that's when you can start using the word autistic. But I don't think that we should be considering people who are at the high end of the spectrum to have autism. I don't think that we should be doing that at all. I think that we should be, putting them through. Maybe you want to, maybe you could pseudo autistic and like make that the term, and then get them
what's the difference
socialized,
then?
put them through. The difference is that you can get them to behave so that they don't express any of the autistic qualities anymore.
But I don't
Okay.
mind. I don't
okay,
mind.
hold-
All right, Matt, Larry, go ahead.
All right, so just to go back a second. Yes, there are certain aspects of autism, sure, that are not favorable. Obviously, lacking the ability to gain social cues and to read social cues is unfavorable. At the same time, there are positive aspects, or rather, there's aspects that can be favorable. Let's say savants aspects, if you're familiar with those. There's
Yeah,
a
but
lot
that
of,
doesn't have anything to do with the social aspect.
It doesn't, but that's part of being autistic. A lot of autists usually have or people who are autistic rather have.
No,
Autism.
it's not about being. It just means you have the savant capabilities.
No,
That's it.
Matt,
You don't
let him
have
finish.
anything
Let him finish.
else.
Let him finish.
The way you're describing it is as if they're two separate symptoms as opposed to one part of a condition. What I was trying to say with diabetes is that diabetes, we separate it into two different types for a reason, because even though it is the same basic condition, there are different ways that it manifests. In the same respect, the reason why people refer to autism as a spectrum is because it is a large pool of overlying, intersecting symptoms and aspects. And what I think me and Aiden are both trying to illustrate here is that it's not like a cold so with the common cold, there is no cure to the common cold. You just address the symptoms. And that's not exactly how you can address autism.
Well, I understand the spectrum. I just don't agree with it.
I don't know
Okay.
that you do though, dude.
It's like how do I explain this? You cannot just. It's like a lot of these aspects. It's not like we're not. It's a lot of people who are this mid to low functional autism, and even some high functional. They can possibly understand what is happening to their body, or what is their body, what is their mind. It doesn't. What I'm trying to explain to you, I feel like I'm so all over the place. Self-awareness cannot always be the remedy to these issues or these conditions.
So do you think that you will never be able to remedy some of your conditions without, even with all the self-awareness in the world, you yourself will
things.
never be able to remedy?
Two things. Number one, no, I don't. And number two, I don't think I want to. A lot of the aspects that I have, these Aspie-like or autistic-like characteristics. If I don't know if I went to a neurologist or a psychologist or something tomorrow and got diagnosed, it would make no difference to me because sure, I think for me, being defined as autistic or not doesn't really matter. I know these aspects.
All right, but
that I have-
here's a question. What parts of yourself do you think that are disadvantageous that you cannot change?
So one thing I think is that in general, and Aiden, you can agree with me on this one. I think it is a part of the way that my mind kind of like works through a conversation or a narrative. I'm very rambly. I'm very, very scatterbrained.
Tangential.
I feel like tangential. That's a good
I'm the
one.
exact same, buddy.
I mean, there's a lot of non-autistic people who are tangential.
Exactly.
You know?
Sure, but that's
Yeah.
that's where
my
the
point.
spectrum comes in. But Aiden, remember like years ago when you were doing those video like summaries, like anyone who liked your post, you would give them like a video where you would kind of talk about your outlook on that person.
What?
And a while ago you said like you had this thing where you just made videos for people and you would kind of like talk about your friends and like how you really think about them.
What? I
Those are like
did this?
A while ago, many years ago, I remember it was like I think it had to be 2-3 years ago.
That's
basically-
incriminating.
And what happened was I remember you
I
gave
don't
like
remember this at all.
I remember you gave me a video that was very flattering because you described me
Aw.
as like a very like intelligence, but you said like you're quirky, you're Aspie like at times, and I remember I laughed at that because I'm like, yeah, I am. I have these like I go on these tangents, I like ramble on, I get really excited about these things,
But
these very specific
Lawrence-
things. I obsess over things.
Lawrence, that in some ways makes you a better communicator than a non-autistic person.
Sure.
Because you're willing to actually go the distance and get the thoughts out of your brain, and you're not as confined to social cues as someone that might, because like again, it's so broad. Like I don't really know like a person that autistic, but a person that
I
is
just don't think the
more, or,
tangentiality
less
is really,
autistic than you, right?
I don't think tangentiality is really an autistic trait. I mean,
Maybe,
like
not
maybe in a certain sense,
necessarily.
if you're just going on and on about like excessive amounts of details relative to the social conversation, but I don't think that you do that because it doesn't seem as if you do that
Who?
so far in this conversation.
Either of us?
Lawrence, Lawrence doesn't seem like he
Well, I've been
goes
trying to
on
keep
autistic
us on
tangents.
topic. But I think if you listen to our past
Mhm.
streams, our past conversations, they kind of just ran. I mean, we've been doing it right now. I mean, this is kind of like the natural flow of a conversation, but it's also like I think there is some kind of like we're always kind of like grasping at things. We're always like trying to get our thoughts out like as they come to us.
Let me give an example. Let me give actually a good point to you about working against those symptoms and trying to work them out. I have to make an earnest effort to control these like streams of thought that I have. That's like I think that's where I agree with you. I agree that certain people with a certain level of high level 5 functioning autism can definitely control it, but that does not make it go away. It's not like no matter how much habits I put into these thoughts, into this work, it's gonna be my natural inclination to go on these tangents like lightning speed. I know
I don't
times
really
when
think that's the healthy way to look at it at all. I definitely think that you should try to figure out how you can change it permanently.
Why?
Matt, I don't know what to tell you
if
then,
think,
Matt.
if you think it's a bad thing, like if it could be advantageous, disadvantageous,
It's both. It's double edged.
Matt, I
I
just
think
told
like,
you-
then
I just-
figure out where the disadvantage is and then get rid of it.
Wait,
That's
Matt, that
the
doesn't make any
idea.
sense. That's irrational. Why would you go?
Figure
Why would you?
get rid of the disadvantaged stuff. That's not irrational.
No, Matt. The way you like propose the idea is to like look for things that are like bad, which you should do. But if you go like with the mentality of like, oh, I need to find something that's bad in order to like fix myself, that you're gonna make yourself find something. You know what I mean? Like that mentality is kind of again.
I'm gonna make
framing
myself
it-
find something.
Yeah, you're
if
like
you look for the bad, you're gonna find the bad. Sure.
yeah, but
Yeah,
you're
look for the
not
bad,
necessarily-
find the bad, and
No,
get
you're-
rid of it.
No, my point is you're not necessarily going to find the bad. You're going to make the bad. You know what I mean? You're going to overanalyze and like try to cut something out of you that didn't need to be cut out in the first place, right?
The way that
Well, how do you know? How do you suppose that that's going to be what happens?
Let me give an example. Things, the way in my philosophy of life, the way I've always thought it is that things are always multifaceted and things are not inherently good or bad. There are aspects that are good and bad to things. And obviously you're going to say there's obviously things in this world, genocide, yada, 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 that are bad. Yes. But I mean like That was a very weird tangent there. But the point is, you can take aspects of yourself and look at the positives, what's good about it, and you can look at the setbacks, what makes it bad. You can't, if you just keep try to rip out the things that have a bad to them, you're gonna take out a lot of good
No,
too.
I would-
because-
Matt, I would
you
say
pick
you
out the
can-
bad things.
Matt.
You don't pick out the good things. I'm
Matt.
talking about being discriminate. That's what I would
you
advise.
can't
is to
be though. That's what I'm
discriminate.
saying.
Yes, you
Something
can.
Can I
Why
jump
can you
in?
not be discriminate? You can absolutely be
Yeah,
discriminate.
you can be discriminate. Yeah, you can find the behaviors that you find disadvantageous and assess them as such, right? We're not talking about like what you're proposing is changing your behavior to like get a better outcome. What we're saying don't do is say, no, this is something intrinsically like bad about me and I need to like excise it from my body. I have to like exercise it like a demon, basically, right?
Well, some things are intrinsically bad, like the bad
Yes,
behaviors.
but I'm saying that autism isn't intrinsically bad. It is not in every case a net negative. That's what I'm trying to say. And you can
I
disagree,
just don't.
but
I just don't think that there's a point
but,
in.
like I think most psychologists would
they-
agree with me that it's not like autistic people are like ill. They are like a certain
I
type
just
of
don't
person.
think it's a good idea to go around saying you're autistic. I think that it opens up the doors
I
for
mean, did you ever talk
negativity
to a
for other
professional
people,
about this?
and it's always going to be like going around and saying it. I mean, even if I had it, I would never say that I did. But I don't
Matt,
believe.
did you ever
it.
talk to a professional about this though? About like
I don't care about the professionals.
Well,
I
then
don't
okay, then we don't really care about
so
science
much
then,
about them,
okay.
but
All right, cool.
no, it's not necessarily about that. I
Well,
mean, there's
that's
probably
that's
lots
how
of
we
bad
come
money
to
in science.
agreements,
There's
right?
a lot
If
of
there's
bad money in these researches, and
Matt, okay,
I
all
don't know
right,
who's
we can talk
for
about
who.
something else.
I don't know
Because
who's working for who.
this is
but
beating a dead horse now.
all I know is that there are things that you shouldn't do, and there are
Okay.
ways to go about doing it differently.
Okay, Matt, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about nutrition.
Yeah, that comes back to that.
Well, now, can the right diet cure autism? Clickbait.
Yeah,
Click
you
here
just
to
eat,
discover my secret.
eat a bunch of soy.
I'm dead.
Oh yeah.
I'm slayed.
Eating a bunch of soy will cause it.
I feel like
Yeah, Matt, you're totally not autistic. Sorry, I'm sorry I ever called you that.
I'm dead. Wait, I was gonna ask this a while ago, but I feel like I don't actually have a lot of background on Matt other than where he lives because he dogged himself. Wait, Matt, what do you do? I'm curious because like,
What do I do?
are you? I don't know how old you are. I don't know nothing about you.
Oh, I'm 25.
All right, so
I-
like me.
Yes, I am a day trader and I go to school.
You're a
All right.
I have
trader?
one more semester left. Yeah,
Wow, to this country?
I do. Foreign currencies.
Oh, well, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
No, so I just want
It
to try
is.
to get an
It is a
idea.
very good job.
All right, I got you.
What?
No,
And
it's-
I'm going to start a band.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
it's like
nice.
just because like trying to get an idea, like kind of getting a gist of like people. Like, everyone's kind of got their thing going on. I'm a physical therapist assistant. I get to work with a lot of different people, and I kind of. It's not good to draw to conclusions, but I do get to learn a lot about a person based on like what the stories they tell me, the lifestyle they tell me, and all that, like what background they're from. And kind of it's very interesting because it's a very enriching part of my job where I get to kind of like learn about these people and kind of get a better understanding of people. Obviously, I'm helping them, hopefully, if they're willing. But I very much enjoy hearing the narrative of people's lives because it gives me a perspective, but it's also kind of like it's like a little collection for me. Learn about people and you kind of expand your horizons a little bit. And I've learned one thing out of all of this is to kind of be very open-minded with people because you're going to learn a lot more from that than you ever will from just kind of like talking to them and kind of chastising them. Like a good example was
Chastising.
I was working with a guy a few months ago, and he was like in his 30s or something, and I forget how the conversation came to it because my background in my bachelor's was actually in public health. And what happened was, I forgot how it came out, but basically I found out that he does not believe in vaccination, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, just to clarify, I am pro-vaccination, and I was trying to, like, at first I kind of wanted to say, like, I started talking to him about it. I'm like, so what's up with that? Like, what's your thoughts on that? And he comes from a family that is like very strong immunity. Like he's never gotten sick in his life, really. He's broken his ankle, but he's never gotten sick. And I was like asking, I kind of decided like, you know what, this is an opportunity to have a conversation with this guy about this. And I started talking to him about like herd immunity, you know? And I was kind of giving it to him in a way where I'm like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I said like, hey, so you are a very healthy person, but let's say the 10 people around you aren't as healthy, aren't as strong have as strong of an immune system. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, so don't you want them to be healthy? And kind of going into the idea of like, I feel like I'm going on a very deep tangent and there's no return from that, but please stop me if you Aiden, please stop me if I'm going too deep into this.
No, go ahead.
And what happened was basically I was able to kind of like draw a bridge. I'm like, hey, you don't have to necessarily get it, but like if people want to be healthy, if people want to be safe, a good portion of the people around should be, because even if you aren't getting sick from the stuff, you may be carrying something. You may have something in your system and you're bringing it along with you, and someone else can get hurt. And kind of, I don't know if I actually convinced him to get a vaccination, but I did. I hope that like I was able to have a conversation with him about something, and it kind of understand something, you know.
So do you think that vaccinations should be mandatory for everybody?
If they want to live in society, yes. If they don't, then no.
Yes. There's like a whole discussion about like, what is it, like Board of Education arguments where like a child was, there's a good case, I forget the name was, but basically a father wanted to exempt his son from getting the vaccination before going to first grade. And his argument was religious beliefs. But the problem was that, so there are exemptions in certain areas for religious views, because obviously we want to protect the First Amendment. But no, yeah, I know. Listen. I know people have certain feelings about this, but if, for example, in the argument of ethics, we want to protect that, and if we do, that's the arguments. But then if he goes beyond that and says like, no, I'm not part of some kind of church that's against vaccinations, and my son is not allergic to vaccinations. I just don't want him to have it because that's my personal view. And then basically the school said is, we're not going to let your son come to school until he gets a vaccination.
Yep.
And this becomes an issue. Yes, if you want to be in an area where not only are there a lot of people, but there's a lot of people that are young, immunocompromised, children in general. We want to hope that they have strong immune systems, but a lot of this is their most fragile point in their lives. Yes, if you are going to be in an area in public, if you are going to fraternize in society, if you don't want to,
sorry,
it's okay. If you
I'm
don't
autistic, I just had to get
that. If you don't want to cause a health risk to the people around you, then yes, I think that vaccination should be mandatory. That's just what I think. That's
Not
my
just
thoughts.
Mandatory, pandatory. That means mandatory for all pandas.
Absolutely, all ones, including the guy in the Panda Express logo.
Yep, that guy.
That
guy in a panda costume in the Panda.
He
Express.
has a job, Aiden. Don't you chastise him.
You said the guy in the logo, though. It's not a guy. It's not a picture of a guy in a panda costume. It's just a panda.
Are you saying that panda can't be a...
Look, when I saw the Panda Express logo, I assumed it was a panda bear. I didn't assume that they were drawing a picture of a panda costume.
That's what I'm joking.
With a guy inside of it.
That was my joke.
No, I think
that's the way it made. That's the way Lawrence made it seem. Anyway,
I feel
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jokes are a lot funnier when you explain them.
Yeah, exactly. You should explain them all the time.
I'm not blaming
So,
you. It's yeah. Anyway.
No, so Matt, you had that. I assume that you have a thought on that, right?
On the mandatory vaccinations, I'm just concerned that if the vaccinations are mandatory, that
what's next?
People are yeah. What's next? People are going to put stuff
Nice.
inside of them, and I think that's something to think about. You know, so how can we make the vaccination process more transparent so that people can trust the vaccines more and get their kids vaccinated? You know, how can we convince people?
That's
people,
usually
no, like, because people who are very educated sometimes also are not pro-vax. I know some people who do not believe in vaccinations, and they're very intelligent.
Do you mean like the 0.00001% of scientists? Because
I don't.
Sometimes it's a very misleading term because it can mean anywhere from like, you know, a couple of times to like depending on how broad the group you're talking about, like a couple thousand
Let's not-
times.
Let's not talk
Okay,
about
so
groups.
I've known a few people who were anti-vax, and they were all pretty educated and smart.
Okay.
Let me ask-
I haven't really known any dumb anti-vaxxers.
Matt,
so
let me ask you this: what do you
Okay.
think?
What
What
do I
you-
think?
Not what other people think. I want to know, like, honestly, what you think about vaccinations. I want to understand your point of view.
The thing is I've had a lot of vaccinations, and
Your tummy hurts.
oh, that's weird. Well, I don't know about it. I don't know if it's my tummy. Sometimes it makes me wonder. There were personality differences in between before I took the vaccinations and after I had them, but I don't know if it's connected to the vaccines.
I'm gonna say
I-
probably not.
No, there are adverse reactions. Don't get me wrong. There are times when certain vaccinations, anything you put into your system may have an adverse reaction, whether it is actually from the chemicals that are in that vaccine or even if it's a placebo effect. But let me just, if I understand what you're saying correctly, your concern is that there may be malevolent, insidious kinds of impacts from vaccinations, and you want to have the greatest clarity possible. And the short answer is that your concern, rather?
I'm interested in figuring out what possibilities it could be, what possibilities we could have that we would encourage people to get vaccinated. How would we assuage the fears of the anti-vaxxers?
Okay.
The short answer is that I don't think you can. If someone believes something, I found that it has very little to do with actual facts and objective information. There is a very good video essay about this concept. This is what's described as the elephant in the rider. We, as human beings, like to think that we are logic before emotion.
No,
And
we're not. But
we're not. That's the yes.
Well, we're
The
logic
argument
and
how do
is
you
that-
emotion.
change their emotions?
Oh,
So how do
fuck.
you change their emotions?
That's the thing. That comes from a human element. The example he gave was the famous what was it, case with a young Mr. Rogers basically trying to make a case to get more funding from the government from PBS.
Who was
And
talking
what
about
happened was-
this? Oh my god, someone was like just talking about this. Sorry,
This
go
is
on.
it's a great study in communication because Mr. Rogers, whenever he was giving his claim to that court, to that council, he always starts it with an emotional element. He says, I know that you care about the children of this country as much as I do. He doesn't start by hammering the facts, the information. He gives a very human element.
Well,
But
Okay.
hold on.
The issue,
Is something that's emotionally stated because it's an emotional statement therefore not a fact?
it's difficult because it's not. Oh, sorry.
Mr. Rogers saying, I know you care about the world's children as much as I do is definitely not necessarily a logical fact.
It's
Because
not.
I could be watching it and I couldn't give a shit about any of the fucking kids. But
To be
Well, he's
to be
talking
fair
about
though,
he's referring to like Congress, right?
not I don't know if it was Congress, but it was some kind of like special board that was created for television and stuff. Like this is a board of people
Yeah.
that is basically saying that they think that
Maybe like the FDA. I forget. I don't know.
no, they,
oh,
they,
it was because they wanted to take him off the air because he
No.
made an episode about death.
Not the
it's
FDA.
way
I meant,
before
I meant
this.
FCC, not FDA.
FCC. No, I think it was either that, but no, this is way in the beginning. This is
Okay.
like they
Yeah, I don't think
public
FCC was a thing
television
yet.
was not fundamentally effective or helpful to children. And he was making a claim that he believed that what was being given on PBS was not only important to children, but vital to the developments. He was making the point that like children are emotional creatures. They have at a very young age the capacity for deep emotional thoughts, and this needs to be cherished. And not only that, but helped to grow and develop at an early age. That was the claim he was making. But it's not about the claim, it's about how he enters that claim. The way you start your points in a conversation is a lot more effective to the results than any of the information you give. It's the reason why you got bullshit artists who know how to play a person's emotions and they just peddle bullshit. The thing about it is that you can have all your facts straight, but if you start saying you're a fucking moron, here's why you're wrong, no one wants to give you the satisfaction of hearing what you have to say. You have to be able to play both the emotional and the factual sides of the argument because
Yeah.
it's not an argument. You're trying to bring this person to your side. You're not trying to push them away.
And we know
Insane.
how many pro-vaxxers there are who will go and say, oh, you stupid anti-vaxxers.
And here's the thing. the famous thing that my father
Well,
always
I'm
told
saying
me
that they are
was,
stupid, but it doesn't matter.
oh, okay. So here's the thing.
That's not going to
Aiden,
get you to their
Aiden.
side.
Well,
That's the
That's not
thing.
going to get them to your side.
that's my exact point. Is that it doesn't matter how much I try to like educate
Well,
them.
it does
I need
matter.
to-
It doesn't matter. Kids and the kids
Matt,
need
I
to be
haven't talked for like
vaccinated,
a
and if
long
the parents
time.
aren't persuaded,
Oh God.
What's up, Aiden?
that's subjective.
No, my point is that it doesn't matter. I'm saying they are less intelligent, but or they are like misguided, ignorant, whatever. But it doesn't matter that me stating that or me being aware of that fact doesn't change anybody's mind. I'm saying the exact same thing that you are. It just it doesn't make a difference.
Aiden.
But you're saying that it does matter to state it to them because they're just going to seek revenge if all you do is just say how stupid they are. They're not going to want to vaccinate
I'm
their
not
kids.
sa-
They're going to think
Are
that
you
you're a
an
shill. They're going to
anti-vaxxer?
think that. No, I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
Well, then I'm not saying it to you. I'm not saying it to any anti-vaxxer.
But
I would never tell an
I'm saying to
anti-vaxxer
you
you're dumb
because.
unless I just didn't feel like talking to them.
Oh,
It's
but what
like,
if you had to convince them?
I don't think I ever could.
that's the difference, I think. It's
What if you had to talk to them about the situation? So you had to not convince them. That's the thing. You got to not convince them.
I just had to like kind of like talk to them. So basically,
Yeah.
if I had an anti-vaxxer in my chat, like in this Discord, yeah, I wouldn't make any point saying that like, oh, you're dumb, like look into the research. I would make a more philosophical point saying that, like, yes, whatever you believe, I'll give might be the case, right? But if you're going to live in a society where the overwhelming majority, like medical consensus and like population believes that polio is a bad thing that we cured, that we don't want coming back, measles, Ebola, any type of shit, basically just diseases that we've known there is actual evidence that we have like, for the most part like gotten rid of because of vaccines, that this is something that you can chart, that like at that point it's just like, yeah, we'll make anti-vax island and you guys can go live over there and party it up, because I don't want my fucking kids dying of like the fucking Black Plague because they touched your little child. And the argument being is that my kid is actually safer, so they won't. It's going to be your kid that's dying. You know what I mean? So
Aiden.
What?
I understand you feel very strong about this, and I do too.
No, I'm not even like making an emotional point. I'm just saying like this is how I would formulate the idea. I'm not like upset.
That's the thing, though. It's the biggest argument is that my dad always told me, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? And the ultimate thing is that if we're going to fix this problem, we have to put aside the frustration. Trust me, as a public health guy, it is absolutely mind-boggling and frustrating when I hear patients tell me that they're anti-vaxxer and that they literally have these kids walking around without vaccinations. It terrifies me and it frustrates me, but I have to hold back that feeling. I have to be able to keep myself there because I feel as a healthcare professional and as the person who cares about people, if I never take credit for it, if I never have to get the satisfaction of seeing them be wrong, if I could help them, that's more important. That's the end of the day. That's the thing. I don't want to have to relegate. If it was my job,
that's the position you're forced to take as a healthcare professional, right?
It's the practical emotions, practical manipulation.
Sure. But if I'm a father, which I'm not, but I just got fired, but I worked with kids for a long time. Whatever. Like if I'm a father, right? And I bring my kid to the school where I know that this kid isn't like vaccinated, like I'm gonna be more I'm gonna be like justifiably upset, and it is my imperative to kind of like change the situation. And I'm saying that the rest of the like kids or whatever who like believe like, oh, this is an actual thing, it's like it's not on them to sort of understand. Maybe if you're a healthcare professional, sure, and you're trying to help these people, but at a certain point, it's not our responsibility to sort of like, kowtow to, I mean, it doesn't, I'm not saying this.
But is it your responsibility to get pissed at them though?
I'm saying, well, it doesn't really matter if we're pissed or not. We're right, like that's the.
Or is it your responsibility to not get pissed at it?
Not really. No, it's not. I don't owe anybody the like the sort of like respect like politics or whatever.
You don't
It's not
know
about.
it.
It's just not about respect. It's about not caving into yourself.
What do you
You got to
mean?
be so
What
mad
am I
at the
not? What am I
person.
not caving into though?
The problem is that
Not caving into getting pissed at them.
But I just told you I'm not getting pissed then. So what am I caving into?
Well, if you were to get pissed,
Okay, but I'm not. So I don't know what your point is.
well, that's not what. Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about if you did.
what I'm saying is
Okay.
that there is. Goodness, it's a.
Guys, I'm like not. This is an interesting conversation. I'm genuinely not like. If you hear
Oh no,
it
no,
in
no!
my voice,
I get
I'm,
that much.
I'm
It's
getting
more so like
emphatic, but I'm not like upset or anything. I'm not mad
no.
at you guys.
I'm glad. I just want to make sure. I guess. It's more so like there's a. I had to take this whole damn course on ethics of health, and like the issue is that there's this whole argument of paternalistic approach versus democratic approach and all that jazz. And what is it? The more I read it, the more I realize I feel like I'm a goddamn Hydra agent or some kind of guy like that. That's what is it like? Hydra's whole idea was they believe that mankind doesn't have the intelligence or doesn't deserve to basically govern itself. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I hate the fact that I feel like this. I hate that I feel like I want to be a Hydra agent because you feel like at some point you can't trust people to do their own decisions, but you have to.
Mhm.
We have to, if we were going to be in a society, we have to be able to do it this way. Otherwise, we like doom ourselves to
Well, I
a
think you
much.
can trust some people, and it's not about trusting them, but I think some people are capable of living in a society. Maybe they grow their own food, they're self-sustaining like that. With property tax, you kind of have to get money somehow. You can't just live off the land. You have to have property tax, or otherwise you can
Where
just
is this
live
coming
off the
from?
land.
Where
Wait,
is this coming from?
Can you let Matt like because I didn't
Sorry,
really understand.
I
No,
apologize.
I'm
no,
sorry.
no. You're fine. I just want to understand what he means by what. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you're trying to say that people ideally need to govern themselves, I mean, I don't think that we're ready for an anarchist state at all. An anarchist state meaning ontology state, not
Hmm.
government state.
Wait,
Because
I
obviously,
thought anarchy was the abolition of the state.
that's what I meant. The ontology state, the ontological state. Like the state of being, not the state being the government. So,
What?
as I was
Okay.
saying, yeah. So an a state of anarchy. Like we cannot get into a state of anarchy because the way that we are now, everybody would have to be ridiculously intelligent to resolve conflicts before they happen. The
Not
government, at the
necessarily.
end of the day, at minimum, protects your rights and resolves conflicts before they happen in a broad sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm saying in a broad sense.
Ideally.
That's what they're supposed to do. If you have somebody who breaks into your house, robs your shit, you can call the cops. The cops will find the person.
Hopefully, ideally.
Yeah, exactly.
I
That's
guess
how
we
it
disagree
works.
on like how close those ideals are to reality because that's definitely not the reality.
If somebody breaks into your house, you can call the cops. They'll
No,
get the
if
guy.
you're white, you
Especially,
can.
I think if you're black, you can also. I think there's a lot of fables
You
going
know what?
around to dramatize things. But
Let's not.
so what I'm saying is that let's say that you had to be, let's say that there was a state of anarchy, and if someone robs your shit, not even if someone robs your shit, but just the
Wait, hold
threat
on,
that somebody could.
Can we
How are you going to protect yourself?
Can we define anarchy? Hold on. Yeah. See, this is
No
something
government at all, no police,
well, that's
no.
not.
no
Well, okay, that's maybe how you
let's just
understand.
assume that it means. Let's just assume that it means
Well,
complete.
no. Let's.
I'm not talking ANCAP versus ANCOM. I'm just talking about, let's say the government is gone, regardless of whatever economic system is.
Well, that's not necessarily
How-
anarchy, right?
I'm not too well versed on this stuff,
Well,
unfortunately.
okay, all right. So this is how I used to conceptualize anarchy, as like that scene. Do you ever see Bill Almighty? Right? Yeah, that sequel is Evan Almighty. So yeah, Bill Almighty with Jim Carrey.
Wait, what?
Is that his name? Bill Almighty, right? Where he's God.
Bruce Almighty.
Almighty.
Bruce Almighty. All right, sorry about that.
Oh,
All right.
lordy. I'm like, okay.
Wait, you talking about it until I said Bruce? All right, whatever.
I just wanted to clarify because I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're right. All right. So, Bruce Almighty, right? Bruce. What a weird name. So, Yeah. So where the moment where he like,
I'm on a 5% battery, by the way.
oh
Gotcha.
shit. Okay. Well, I'll make this point
Yeah.
then. I guess then I could let you go if you need to. But like anarchy being like the moment where he like answers everybody's prayers or something like that. He's like
At the same time, he lets
I
everyone. Yeah.
and like everyone like, oh, everyone won the lottery, but then nobody did because they all got a penny, and like for some reason everything's on fire. It's like that's what I thought anarchy was, and it's just like no structure, no nothing, there's no systems. It's just everyone out for themselves, right? And I think that's what a lot of people think of when they think of anarchy. But I've come into this sort of new understanding or new definition. Not to say that the old one isn't like something that can happen, but I wouldn't call it anarchy anymore. I would call it like fucking disaster. You know what I mean?
So a
Anarchy.
thing
Hold
with-
on. Anarchy, I
Mm.
would ascribe to the antithesis of hierarchy, right? Hierarchy, whether it's like fair or not, is just like the system of things, sort of like a power structure, right? Like things being on top of each other. Anarchy, I think, is closer, I guess, maybe to egalitarianism, or maybe there's some crossover, but it's more akin to that. You know what I mean? Where it's
Hey,
like,
can you hear me? Just a quick test.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm without my headphones and I'm charging my phone and it works.
Oh,
Okay, cool. I mean, if you need to head out, I mean, it's already, damn, we've been talking for like a couple hours here.
It's been a while. Yeah.
But it's been a while. So if you need to, if anyone needs to hop out, that's totally fine. I don't mind ending the stream anytime soon. I've kind of like, just finished. Have you guys seen my my genie, by the way?
Oh shit. Let me see. I kind
Oh. of
like dipped out for a certain point.
Yeah,
Let me see.
look at my progress.
I would like to see this. Oh my goodness.
Do you like it?
He's so happy.
He looks like
Yeah,
He's so
how many-
content.
How many people are doing this?
Huh?
How many people are doing this?
Probably just us. But,
I was gonna say it is late.
like 2 people, yeah. But I mostly just did this to like get into the habit of doing this, and I genuinely enjoy myself, man. I hope you have too. I'm not ending this necessarily, but I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, I gotcha.
But actually, I think I should be winding down. Actually, so I
It
don't
is
know.
kind of late. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was very interesting. Like it was hard. I'm glad you came back into the call, Matt.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know. I kind of just like, ended it real quick. But or no, I mean like kind of pulled the plug, I guess. Sorry, I'm just like looking through my.
You gotta do it at
tabs
some
here.
point, man.
Yeah, no, because it's just
You
it feels
called him a-
natural anyway. But yeah. So did you want to like have any closing thoughts, anyone?
Not entirely.
Okay. All right. Well.
I feel like I have a punchline somewhere, but it's probably best left for myself.
Oh man. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just think that this was a very interesting, enlightening conversation.
Enlightening.
Yeah, I always enjoy. Like, thing is, if I were to talk to an anti-vaxxer, there's a good possibility that I would enjoy myself and actually enjoy like hearing my thoughts like communicated rather than just stay in my head. So it's
Yeah.
not if it's never me. Like, if I start to get upset or angry, I'll usually like make it kind of obvious because I'm pretty transparent with how I like feel generally. I think that's the best kind of way to go about things. But anyway, so I at no point did I ever feel like angry. I just was just like sort of, I don't know,
Emphatic was the word you used before.
emphatic, but also like kind of like flabbergasted, like when you're just like, what?
I gotcha.
So, but yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, it's great hanging out with you guys, and
Always a pleasure.
I hope to do it again soon. I want to make this a regular thing. So if you ever want to come back and talk about other topics, you're more than welcome. All right.
All right.
All right.
Okay. I guess I'm just gonna. How do I like? Can I kick you guys, or you want to just leave the call? I don't know. Fuck this.
We all just dip. Don't worry.
All right, man. All right. Peace out, guys. Have a good night.
Take it
Okay.
easy. Take it easy.
Sweet dreams.
Later. Wait, Aiden, one thing quick.
Oh yes.
Oh my fucking god.
What?
This is just a ride, this whole thing.
I wanna listen back to it so bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be a ride.
Oh man.
Just gonna hear me like cackling like an idiot.
And I know if Matt is listening to this in the playback, this is not me making fun of him. This is just like
No, this
it's
has just been very
intense, right?
it was very intense.
We had
and
our
it's like-
highs and our lows.
it was a whole French melodrama.
Yeah.
As Jesse would put it.
Do you want to say that joke? Oh, hold on. Let me end this.